8 days until March 12th, the beginning of free agency. And where's Zach Bond's deal? Where's Zach Bond's deal? We got 8 days. Where's that deal? Hey. Where's that deal there? Where are we going here? We got 8 days until free agency. LFG, baby. Let's go. Hey, by the way, Big Sills here. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Please hit the like button. And also all the super chats go to the top, as you guys know. Jeff Fisher, the former head football coach of the Rams and Titans and the commissioner of the new Arena Football League, will be with us. That'll be at 3:30. And he was also the defensive coordinator of Gang Green. Yes, he was the dude that was the coordinator for Buddy Ryan back in the day with Jerome Brown and with Reggie White and Seth Joyner and Wes Hopkins and Andre Waters and all them dudes. He will be with us. That's going to be at 3:30. We will talk with him. Please hit the like button. You guys have been great. It's 8 days until free agency. I mean, guys, where are we? I mean, what's the deal hitting the table? I got to tell you, man, what I'm hearing about Milton Williams, the dude in Dallas just signed an $80 million deal. Milton Williams is going to get exactly that deal. 4 years, $80 million with nearly $60 million in guarantees. Bye. There's not a chance in hell he's back in Philly. My question would be to you is, are you really going to allow a 25-year-old defensive tackle to walk out the building? Salary cap's going up. Why don't you pay Milton? You developed him. You drafted him. He's one of Howie's guys. Here we go, man. Where's Zach Bond's deal? That defense is not going to look the same, which means that defense won't perform the same. We're going to look at it. We're going to look at it here in a minute. By the way, Eagles make some more news. Another release. They end up releasing James Bradberry. Okay. Give me a ranking, and I put this out here on my X account. Tell me what you think that deal was. 3 years, $38 million. They gave James Bradberry. What would you rank that deal by Howie? A, B, C, or D? What would you give him for that? How good was that deal? For a guy who only performed, and listen to me, 1 year. 1 year. Hey, he had an all-pro season. James Bradberry was coming off an all-pro year when you gave him that 3-year, $38 million deal. Remember that. He was an all-pro. Would I have done it? Probably, yeah. Okay? Probably I would have. Look at these grades. Howie gets a D and an F. Hey, I couldn't put the F there. I just put a D. I can't give him an F for that deal. The guy wasn't all pro. Oh, well, this is after the fact. So maybe the deal is an F. D or F for Howie Roseman's deal with James Bradberry. And you get another F as of right now for Bryce Huff. Now, you turn around and you say, Sills, what about the Becton deal? A+. What about the Bond deal? A+. So either Howie's an F or an A+. That's what you do when you're constantly revolving the defense and you're constantly turning it over some of the players on your roster with those 1-year deals. It's either going to be an A or an F. That's what it's been. Saquon Barkley, A. Bryce Huff, F. Devin White, F. Becton, A+. That's what you get. That's what happens when you're not building your team and the core of your team with young draft picks. Now, what's changed the room for the Eagles has been these young players are starting to step in. Not just step up. They're stepping into roles now on the team. Look at what you did. You completely cut the 2022 ties with both your corners that took you to a Super Bowl. And what have you done in the process? You got younger. Well, potentially. Because you still don't know what you're going to do with Cooper DeJean on corner number 2. Are you going to do that? Okay. Or are you? Or can you get away at the corner position with a lesser player and keep DeJean in the role he's in? I like the role he's in. You want to change him and put him in a different role. Different expectations out there on the numbers. I can hear people going right now, Sills, are you saying he can't do it? No, I haven't seen him do it. By the way, those fraudulent numbers of him being the top corner in the league is ridiculous. He was the nickel corner. Vic Fangio even said himself it's a different position than playing an actual true corner. It's more of a safety. That's a fraudulent grade. I mean, you're playing nickel corner, and you're going to try to tell me that's like playing cornerback. It's ridiculous. Nobody in their mind would say that. It's a completely different role. Your D coordinator has said that at least 7 times in press conferences. Okay? So, and by the way, I'm not sitting here on March 4th telling you he can't do that. I am not saying that. I'm just saying now you create another unknown. How about this? You put him on the corner. You got 2 question marks at corner. Can he do it? And who's playing CB1? Okay? Are you moving and traveling Quinyon Mitchell? Are you not? Traditionally, they don't because they play that too high safety. So are you moving him from the left corner to the right corner now? That's Quinyon Mitchell because that's the majority of the time where the top receivers line up. Is that how you're going to do that? Just ask, again, question marks on your defense. Your defense, once again, this offseason, you're at the pole position. This is a different conversation than coming off of being the 31st ranked defense. Sky's not falling conversation here. It's just you have big question marks. This is not sky is falling shit. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button here. So again, James Bradberry released. You save about what, $2 million with his release? Sure, okay. Yesterday we asked the question, what the hell's that guy even doing on the team? Never made sense keeping him on. That deal, and along with the Rashad Penny deal, I never got why they kept those guys in the barn. They're still young and learning. Believe they can do it. I don't give people the benefit and rookies the benefit of the doubt. I give Vic Fangio the benefit. Barkley extension. Brown and Ringo need to step up and earn it. Saquon Barkley got a contract extension. Is that what we're hearing? That's to free up more free agent money. They're going to make a play for Myles Garrett. If that's what's happened here, they're going to make a play for Myles Garrett. If Barkley got that extension, which means you're going to lower the number of his base, and they're going after Garrett. They're going to go after Garrett if that's the case by adding another year to his deal. That's actually a smart-ass move, man, because you lower the number. Eagles are rewarding Saquon Barkley with a 2-year, $41.2 million contract extension that makes him the highest-paid running back in the NFL. The deal makes Barkley the NFL's first $20 million per year running back. Holy cow. Man, if you're the New York Giants, you've got to be absolutely looking at this and going, what in the F have I done? Holy cow, $20 million annually. However, you've got to remember what that does. It may come out that's because the bag of money they're giving him is going to lower his base salary so that they can make a play for Myles Garrett or for Bond. Holy cow. That is an enormous contract. I mean, when you look at the deal here, 2 years, 41.2. Highest paid running back, $20 million per annual. And in addition, he can earn an additional $15 million in incentives and escalators that include $36 million fully guaranteed when he signs the extension. Eagles are taking the rare step of extending Barkley 1 year into his 3-year deal. That is absolutely why the Eagles are ahead of the Dallas Cowboys. They're proactive. Overpaid? See this guy here? This guy thinks a guy who went out and had 340 carries and had the most yards rushing in NFL history is overrated, and he delivered a Super Bowl. That's why he roots for a loser, whoever that is. Hollywood roots for a loser because the Eagles do one thing that no other team does. You know what that is? They pay up front. They don't back-end contracts. They do not. Man, hey, I'll make this point to you. I was wrong about Saquon in his time in New York. Okay? He was that player. He just couldn't perform in that shit environment. I don't care what kind of talent you are. If you don't have good football players around you, this is going to go into the conversation of the free agents that are out there for the Eagles now. You better be careful where you're going to go because do you want to be Saquon Barkley? Saquon Barkley was in hell in New York with the Giants. Complete hell. 5 years of a wasted career. The Giants never built a football team around him. They gave that idiot Daniel Jones $48 million, and you know what in the end they ended up doing? Cutting him. That's why the Giants suck today. Barkley was so elite in the blocking game. Absolutely true, especially in the Super Bowl. You'd never be able to GM without projections. Yeah, you don't get paid for what you did. You get paid for what you think they're going to do when you get extensions. That's a brilliant move. And by the way, it's a ballsy move. Running backs, how much tread does he have on his tires? A ton. This guy had like 900 carries at Penn State. He had 400 last year touches. And the Eagles extended him. Kudos. That's putting your money where your mouth is and rewarding players for executing and going out and producing. With that contract, Howie Roseman is telling you that's his greatest free agent that he has signed, including A.J. Brown. Signing A.J. Brown didn't deliver a Super Bowl. Signing Barkley did. That guy helped Roseman win a Super Bowl. And again, go back to New York and think about the Giants. And Joe Schoen with that shit show at Hard Knocks saying, hey, make sure you give us the last call so that we can match the deal. If you're John Mara right now and you let that guy walk out the building, how do you let that guy pick your next quarterback? Howie clearing up cap. Absolutely true. I mean, Get this. Absolutely true. You know what else Saquon Barkley did this year? And you know what Howie Roseman just did? If you're a potential free agent running back like Aaron Jones, your market value just went up because of Saquon Barkley. It just went up. Barkley and Henry elevated the running back position again this past year. Henry with almost $2,000, Barkley with $2,000 and a Super Bowl. I don't know about you, but how do you not look at that and go, I need a running back? Who would have thought Howie would pay a running back years ago? That's why now the conversation about paying a linebacker, you got to think that's changed as well. Cam Jurgens next. I'm not sure about that until I see how he plays with his back. Man, that is phenomenal news for running backs in the NFL. Saquon Barkley, 2-year extension, 41.2, making him the first $20 million a year running back with incentives and escalators that can give him an additional $36 million. That's only 1 year into a 3-year contract. The Philadelphia Eagles are once again setting the tone. They're not afraid to spend money. Dallas spends it stupid. Will Garrett be a pre-draft or post-draft move? Freddie, I think if they're going to make a move for Myles Garrett, I think it's going to be post-June 1. I called that extension for Barkley. Xander's been probably one of the only guys that when he was initially signed liked the move. Because again, his 5 years in New York were duds. They were kind of decent. He wasn't special in New York. Then again, New York held him back. This all goes back to New York holding Barkley back. Yes, they did. The narrative is clearly the failures of the New York Giants. Look at the New York Giant management right now. They're fucking talking about bringing in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is not going to win ball games in New York. That guy needs to be like a spokesperson for ayahuasca and go on those convention tours smoking weed. You know, get net room because as a quarterback, you're toast. Barkley, Henry, Jacobs reset the running back market. Absolutely true. Completely reset the market. Hey, and by the way, that's a great call too by Shady. You got David Montgomery. You've got Gibbs up in Detroit. Look at all the good teams that made it to the playoffs. You know what killed Kansas City in the Super Bowl? They couldn't fucking run the ball. They couldn't run the ball or have the threat of running the ball. Philly's got two dudes that run the ball, the quarterback and Barkley. Kansas City couldn't get it going. There's no doubt, since 1920, how you win ball games, still to this day, whether it's back in the day with rugby, whether it's today, you can't run the ball, you can't defend the run, you can't win. Throwing the ball is overrated. Because, let me tell you what, if you're playing defense and somebody's running you over, I'll give you a for instance here. Shit, when I watch my daughter's rugby games, no matter what it is, if they're running over you, I don't care what plays you design, you're getting murdered. Same in football. I don't give a shit who your quarterback is. You can't stop the run. It's like having one hand tied behind your back and you're trying to defend people. I would rather play against a pass offense than a team that runs it down your throat. Told you this last year. When you started running the ball and you're putting a clip at 200 yards of ground every game, you can't beat that. You know what it does? It takes time of possession, your field position. When you got a running back and he's running you over, You wave the white flag, it's over. You want to be a finesse team? I can beat that team. You want to be a dominant and physical team? You can't beat physical teams because they're going to run you over. I mean, glad to hear you say that the running teams win. Well, look at the running games. You don't have a running game, you can't win. If we actually land Garrett, let Bond walk, would we still be the number one defense? Yes. Myles Garrett is a game-changing, generational talent. 7 years in a row, he's averaged 14 and a half sacks. Do you know he's averaged more sacks than Lawrence Taylor over that time period? He is right now the number one player in the league, non-quarterback. It's a tremendous move by the Eagles. I'm going to say this to you, man, and should probably put nails in my eyes here with this. This guy, Roseman, yes, he's the best GM in the league. I'll finally admit it. But I got to say one thing with an asterisk. That owner in Philadelphia allows that guy to sign players because he signs the checks. Here's $30 million guaranteed. What's the guarantees on that deal? I mean, 36. He's getting all of that. Plus his Saquon Barkley's going to make 56 fucking million bucks next year. That's an owner that's not afraid. Dude, the Dallas Cowboys, this guy is putting on a class on how you do deals. I mean, it's remarkable. Even Jason Cole said Howie's the king right now. Dude, it's fucking unbelievable. Howie Roseman reset the running back market. $36 million in guarantees. No, excuse me, that's a signing bonus. $20 million annually on what his base is. This guy's going to make near $50 million. Guy's the Hall of Fame GM. Fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. Utterly unbelievable. You know, all the stuff that may happen to the team and losing free agents, you got to be confident this guy's going to retool the shed. I don't know what it's going to look like. You may lose every one of these guys, but there's a contingency plan. And you got to just be cool with it. Unreal. The only other GM in my lifetime I've ever seen do shit like this, who just was constantly putting the pieces back on the chessboard and having the success, was during the Patriot time when Scott Pioli and Nick Caserio and Belichick were retooling the team every year. They did it during the salary cap era. That resulted in 6 Super Bowls. This is the kind of shit that they were doing in New England. Now, here's the deal. They would never pay a running back in New England. There used to be a rule with Belichick and with Parcells, but Belichick wobbled. You can look at Bill Belichick and then look at Parcells. Bill Parcells would never draft a running back in the top 3 rounds. In his entire time coaching, he never drafted a running back in the top 4 rounds. He didn't believe in it. I believe that Bill drafted a kid in the first round out of Georgia when he was up in New England. Most of the other guys were free agents. I wonder if Howie has that meant. Has Howie ever drafted a running back in the top 3 rounds? Okay. I think you're right. I think King, the kid from Minnesota. Yeah, that's the kid from Minnesota. I'm talking who? You're talking Parcells. Parcells didn't draft him. Sony Michel drafted. Wow. What an absolutely incredible deal. One more time here on the deal. Barkley agrees to a contract extension, 2 years, $41.2 million, making him the highest paid NFL running back in history. The deal makes Barkley the first $20+ million a year player. Barkley also has the ability to earn $15 million in escalators and incentives. The deal includes $36 million fully guaranteed at sign. So let's take a look at this offense now, on where you are in that offense. Holy cow. And I'm just going by the numbers here. So now you're paying $20 million annually to the running back. You're paying $50 to the QB. You're paying for the left tackle $25 million. You're paying the left guard $20. You're paying the right tackle $25. Paying the tight end $15. Receivers, you're paying $31, $35. And you're paying the other guy $25. Salaries alone, not counting how they're manipulating it with the bonuses, you're paying $215 million for that offense. $215 million on a $281.7 million salary cap. And then Howie cuts the numbers in half because the bag of money all goes up front. They are not afraid in Philly. They are not afraid of money. There's one thing you could never say about the Philadelphia Eagles. They are fucking cheap. That is not the case. And then you have the Cowboys dicking around with CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. I mean, and Micah Parsons, who will never deliver you shit. Barkley was rewarded because he helped win a Super Bowl. Hurts was rewarded because he helped the team get to one. AJ has been productive and done the same. What are you paying the Cowboy guys for? Hey, Sills, last year you were screaming, where's Reddick's deal? And watching players also leave in 22. Fangio's success gives Howie rope. Well, that deal never came for Reddick. Just like it may not come for Bond. Never seen a GM manipulate the cap like Howie's uncanny. His remarkable run with acquisitions, trades, drafts, successes, failures. He's been a head coach and idiot-proof. Yeah. Dude, you can lose in the Bryce Huff and James Bradberry deals when you're landing on deals like I said, I mean, look, you're going to eat that Bryce Huff deal when this guy's giving $20 million annually out to Barkley because he had 2K. Or when you're choice finally picks up. By the way, that's why the hiring of coaches is so instrumental. You can't have first-year play callers as your coaches. You just can't. $90 million for Dak Prescott against the cap this year. Why? Dak Prescott's leading you nowhere. Michael Parsons, are you really going to give that guy $38 million annually? I mean, seriously, he is not a physical player. You want to beat Michael Parsons? Run at him. He's not a physical guy. Giving that guy $38 million, the only thing he wants to do is podcast, and all the other thing he wants to do is rush a passer. He's a one-dimensional turd. That's what he does. I'll tell you something else about Barkley and why you give him the contract. That guy never opened his mouth one time last year when people were bitching about targets in the passing game. He was just a leader, had a chance to break the franchise record. Now give the other guys a chance to carry the ball. He is a great teammate. What an absolutely fabulous teammate that guy is. If you could have 53 dudes like that in the building, you never lose a ball game. You got him and Devontae in the huddle. You got Jalen in the huddle. You got Dickerson and you got Juergens. Those guys showed you about manning up and playing tough. It's a fucking tough team. And you know this, if you go out and play your ass off, you're going to get paid. Hey, I'm telling you, man, that's really a great day for the Eagles. You know what else it shows me, too, if I'm a free agent? If I come to Philadelphia and I play my ass off, that guy's going to pay me. I want to play in Philly. So Barkley is the first $25 million back to win a Super Bowl. Well, he wasn't making that money then, but now I get it. Dude, if I'm a free, hey, get this. If I'm Myles Garrett, and I see what they just gave Saquon Barkley, you mean to tell me I got $79 million remaining on my deal? And if I'm Myles Garrett, I do this. Well, shit, if I go in there and get them 20 sacks playing next to Jalen Carter, will they redo my deal and make me the first $40 million a year guy? That's how players talk. The only thing players are loyal to is paychecks. You got to worry about yourself when it comes to paychecks. Hey, you want to play in a good environment? You want to play on a good team? You bet. Fucking pay me. Because just as much as they would pay Barkley, if you don't live up to your expectations, they'll cut your ass. Dude, this is a league of production, not fantasy, like in the NBA. You sign a huge deal in the NFL, that doesn't mean shit unless the guaranteed money's there. You sign one of those bullshit NBA deals, those guys could take nights off, not give a shit, and be Embiid. I'd take the fucking rest of the year off. You know why no one watches that sport? Because the players don't even give a shit about the regular season. Why should I, as a fan, pay $75 for a ticket when the fucking player doesn't even give a shit? So it makes the NFL the best. It's a great deal. Holy cow. Way to start the show off. Hey, James Bradberry, who? That guy put, you know what? I wonder if he strategically did that shit. Hey, I'm gonna put Bradberry out there so everybody can goof on the deal. You know, it wasn't really one of my finer moments. But hey, by the way, okay? I'm going to give Barkley a 2-year contract extension and make him the first $20 million annual player at that position. Where last year they were talking about pay cuts for running backs. They had to have a symposium about why the running backs were being shit on last year by the league. Well, that changed. Fantastic. What a dude. The expectations now for the Eagles on offense, you better bring me Becton back. I want Becton back. And I want some help for him in the backfield. Will Shipley ain't it. And nor is Kenny nobody. They need some help back there. Not looking to do anything, but keep that guy preserved. Okay? Dude, do you understand what a move like this does and how much savings it is on your cap? When you do something like this? So in the last 2 days, 4, 2, 10, this guy saved $14 million on his cap. $14 million. I think they're going after Garrett. I would tell you this. You know, they had that soundbite on CNN. I'll make this point to you right now. That contract extension for Saquon Barkley, that's A+. And get this, if he blows his fucking knee out and can't play next year, it's still an A+. Why? He delivered the ultimate Lombardi trophy. And it helped my cap. There's no losing to this. Unless, God forbid, he can't play. Other than that, it's win-win. The players paid, the caps, a $10 million savings. Jeez, criminy. I got to pinch myself because I'm talking too good about the Eagles here. Unbelievable. That's a grand slam move. So far, that's the best move of the offseason. Lowered your cap, saved 10, rewarded the player. I need a shot of whiskey. You know me, I don't give compliments out. That's impressive. Utterly impressive. Man. Now you head into free agency with 8 days out. You're freeing money up for potential targets. I wonder if Howie's going to let the free agent market come to him. And that's what he's doing here. Okay? I mean, I don't believe he's going to panic here if Bond leaves and signs a contract. He has a contingency plan. I'm going to make some predictions on that here in a minute. You know, it's funny. Prior to coming on the air, I made this comment to Xander Krauss. And now, I wasn't sure he's going to do this. But now I'm going to ask you this question. Here's the first topic. With what you just saw today, with Barkley getting that $20 million contract extension, I was so optimistic about Bond re-signing. I wouldn't put that to sleep yet here. Seems like he's hitting the market. I thought he was hitting the market anyway. They would have signed him by now. That's not true. Here's the first topic. Going into 2025, okay? That's Howie's magic. Pay players, reduce the cap. It's totally true. I don't know why the Cowboys can't see this. 2025, Jalen Carter becomes eligible to have the fifth-year contract picked up and an extension at the end of this season. Do you believe Howie Roseman will pay in excess of $36 million a year for him? Right now, Chris Jones makes $31.7 million, and this is for a defensive tackle. Do you think he pays Jalen Carter $35 million annually? For D tackle. So you think, some of you are saying, you think Howie will give him $40 million. He'll be making almost as much as the quarterback. Okay? He'll be making $10 million less than the quarterback. Simple. Sills, explain giving Barkley the money before paying Bond makes sense. I don't understand. He lowered his salary cap $10 million, which affords him more opportunity to go out and offer him a 3-year contract extension. Because the base is going to be reduced because of the signing bonus money. Very simple. Actually, signing Barkley to that deal gives him more latitude on spending more money. That's how that works. See, when you see $20 million, you're thinking, holy shit, that's $20 million. That's not how it works. Because the more you give in the bonus, 22, the more you give in the bonus, the more your base salary gets reduced. You're not owed as much. That's how that helps. Okay? The other point is the pressure they just put on the rest of the league to spend more on running backs. Absolutely. The market now increases. Aaron Jones, even Nick Chubb, players like that now that were expected to make much less. Now you're going, holy shit, look at what Henry, look at what Josh Jacobs, look at what Aaron Jones did. Look at what all these free agent running backs, get this, think about this for a second. Every single high-powered free agent running back helped this team get to the playoffs. Aaron Jones, Minnesota. Josh Jacobs, Green Bay. Barkley, Super Bowl with the Eagles. Henry with the Ravens. All four of those running backs, not the quarterbacks, ended up helping their team get to a Super Bowl. Okay? Joe Mixon, down in Houston, got traded, signed a contract extension. You do not have a running back or a running game. You cannot win. You have to win the point of attack. You don't win the point of attack, you get run off the yard like the Eagles did in 23. James Cook, not a free agent last year. Wasn't a free agent. He was drafted by the Bills. You had the greatest free agent market in the history of the NFL in running backs. And the stupid-ass Cowboys didn't sign one of them. Would you bring in Harrison Bryant or Tommy Tremble, both young, cheap, and talented tight ends who can block also. Sydney, they need to get a pass catcher, blocker. I don't think Grant Calcaterra is the answer. And I would even make this point to you. I wouldn't be shocked if Howie cuts Dallas Goedert. What's the point? That guy's not a $15 million a year guy. Constantly hurt and way too expensive. Two things Roseman hates. Always hurt, too expensive. What's the point? Why are you paying Dallas Goedert? The cap will probably go up $40 million in the next 2 years. Yes. What up, Sills? I agree. Dude, Roseman's Doge. Tell you what he is. I'm going to say this to you, too. That guy has come up with the template how to do it. Jeffrey Lurie fills in. He fills in the putty and puts the money into it and invests in it. How he came up with the system, Roseman believes in it. Can you imagine this, too, with Howie Roseman? You got fucking fired. And that guy now has so much belief in you that he invests in what you're doing and invests in you as GM with the company's money. That's quite a rising from the ashes. I've never seen that in NFL history where a GM gets fired, put in a broom closet, comes out, and is elevated to being a Hall of Fame GM. Name me one. Fanning's a good tight end from Bowling Green. I voted for him for All-American. I actually like the player. Sills, would you take Barkley over McCaffrey right now? Of course right now. But McCaffrey's had a better career. Don't dismiss a guy's career over 1 year and downplay what McCaffrey did. It's stupid. There's things in McCaffrey's career that Barkley would never achieve. And the same could be said for the 1 year. This guy's a 100-catch guy 2 years in a row in stupid Carolina. So what he doesn't have a ring? The fuck does that mean? Neither does OJ. If tight end Loveland is at 32, do you take him? No. Trade out. I can get that guy in a second, third, second. Would I pay Jalen Carter $40 million this time next year? Man. So you're going to give that guy $120 million. Let's see, how much would that be? 4 years? I mean, you're going to give him $160 million. And then with a signing bonus, 4 years, 160. Is that what you're doing? 4 years, that's more money than Daniel Jones got. Man. I'm not saying they won't do it. But Jalen Carter is going to reset the market. And boy, I'll tell you this. He's got Jalen Carter out there. That's the big nugget. So all the moves you make now are probably predicated. That's why the number for Barkley, because he's looking at that Carter number. Dude, remember this. Chris Jones makes $32 million a year. You think that guy's going to get an extra $1 million? By the time that guy's contract up, God willing, he has an all-pro season, He is first team All-Pro next year. It is 40. Then you got some really big-time decisions to make. Who do you extend? Who do you give more money to? I got to free up money. I don't want to lose players. I think this is why he goes and negotiates on that side of the ball. Do you know he uses the defensive side of the ball to negotiate all the contracts for his offensive players? He pays the offensive guys, but you know what he does? You guys tell me if you think this is true. Here's what, in my opinion, this is what Howie does and how he puts this team together. He spends all of his money on the offensive guys, and he spends all of his cap space on the defensive guys. Does that make sense? All that money he pays for those high-powered guys and that Tiffany offense, with the cap space he has, he pays that cap space to defensive guys. And that's why you have kind of a rotating door on that side of the ball. And that's why he's willing to let a guy like Zach Bond walk out the building. Okay? You're starting to really see his mentality a little bit here. I'm going to give Barkley the money. I saved $10 million on my cap. Does that mean I can go get Myles Garrett or re-sign Zach Bond with that cap space money? Remember what he did. How much do you guys want to pay Zach Bond? I want to show you something, what he did in the last 2 days. Remember what he said at the combines. Xander, correct me if I'm wrong. Remember what he said. You got to remember, you got to take from here to go over here. Hang on here. So with the release of Darius Slay, that's $4.3 million, correct? With the release of Bradberry, you're saving about 2.1, right? That's 6.8. With the extension to Barkley, that's $10 million. Gee, that comes out to $16.8 million in savings. I wonder where that money's going. Where do you think that $16.8 million is going? Huh? Who would I give that 16.8 to? Bond? There's your money. In 2 days, Howie Roseman has cleared money to pay Bond. There it is. Add the numbers up. I would expect in the next day or so, Zach Bond to have a 3-year contract that's somewhere around $14 to $15 million annually being offered to him. There's your money. Then, if you want to keep Becton, you restructure Hurts, or you cut Goddard. Or you restructure Landon. In 2 days, Roseman has cleared $16.8 million in cap space with the extension and the releases of he kept James Bradberry around so that he could make it post June 1, both Slay and him, and designate that so when they ink the contracts June 1st, you got your 16.8. You're starting to see what he does. I am, at least. You'll never hear anybody understand it. Like, we've seen people deal with it before. You've never heard anybody say the money he spends on offense, the cap space that he saves, that all goes to the defensive guys. That's why they're 1 or 2 year deal. Is there anybody on that defense that has a longer than a 3-year contract? Is there? By the way, how many players on that defensive side of the ball have been awarded a 2-year contract? Or a second contract? Reed? That starts. Has anybody that's a starter on that defense earned a second contract? I'm not talking CJ because he went to Detroit. Nobody. That's how he does it. Salary cap is confused, and I feel Dallas Cowboy pain. Hey, sir, just remember this. The real money is the guarantees. The guarantee is going to tell you what the base is. I could tell you I want to sign you to a $20 million annual deal, okay? But if I give you the majority of that money in a signing bonus, according to the collective bargaining agreement, that means I can lower, with my cap, how much I'm paying you annually. That number starts to get reduced. The salary doesn't get reduced. The cap space does. So if I pay you $40 million on a $40 million on a 3-year contract, and you're making 20, you prorate it over the length of the contract. Take that number per annual year. That's how much you're making annually. It's not 20 million, but it is. If Dallas Goedert doesn't restructure, I'm cutting him. Give me a total on where we are with the likes. Please do me a favor, hit the like button. We're going to talk some defense with our friend Jeff Fisher. That'll be at 3:30 Eastern time. Xander will join us, I believe, at 4:30. And you, please hit the like button. 129, not bad. That's going to be interesting at the end of this coming season. Coming up, the 25 year, how Howie cuts that contract for Jalen Carter. That's pending. Do you understand? 12 months from today, Jalen Carter's contract has to be dealt with. A year from today. And if you're going to pick the extension up and then do a Devontae, giving him and using that 5th year to make he's eligible for an extension. I am convinced, after watching this guy the last 4 years, listen, 23 was a shit show. 22 was excellent. I'm going to excuse 23 for mistakes in the organization. Because 2 of those 3 years you went to the Super Bowl. You give somebody the benefit of the doubt for that. You just can't go, well, the guy, so that's not the case. That's not the case. And I would be lying to you if you didn't address what's reality here. Every single thing that Roseman is doing right now, he's got a dual track plan going. Okay, I got to deal with these big 4 guys that are out there. And I got Carter. And By the way, I'm going to make a prediction. Howie Roseman is going to restructure and extend Jalen Hurts. You're not going to not give the Super Bowl MVP an extension. He's next. Jalen Hurts will get extended this offseason with more money. And it'll free more space up for Myles Garrett or Zach Bond or both. AJ a year ago, they got ahead of the game, cleared up cap space. Howie's offseason so far? Well, coming off the Super Bowl, he's got pending free agents. I think what he's doing, he's playing a little Donald Trump game here like he is with Zelensky. I'm not flinching. You'll come back to me. You'll come crawling back. And the market will crawl back to him. He's very patient. Hit the like button, guys. Tremendous. Tremendous. Money up front. By the way, supers go to the top. Hey, I'm not overpaying for Bond, but he freed the money up for him. You know what he's probably telling Bond? I got $16 million I just created in cap space for you. The highest I'm willing to go is 16. You don't take it? I'll see you later. And if you're Zach Bond, you're watching what the Eagles are doing right now to try to get you re-signed. They cut Slay for you. They cut Darius Slay for you. I'm going to talk about Slay in a couple minutes here. Okay? Bradberry was a poker chip. $2 million. Barkley and the Slay move is what created the Bond money. It's great. He's working now on those contracts by getting the money. The owner has to be like, you know, when you go to an owner and you're trying to pitch a plan to him, how he has to pitch this plan. Listen, we're going to extend Barkley. It's probably going to cost you this X amount of money. But what it's going to do is it's going to help me lower that cap. Dude, the most important thing in the Philadelphia Eagles organization is the salary cap. It's not the roster. It's the salary cap. Because without the managing of the cap, there's no roster. It is the most important thing. And remember this too, Jerry Jones is saying, hey, the bills are all due. Eagles are going to have to start paying people. Well, they are. Jerry, you could have had fucking Barkley. You could have had Derrick Henry. Shit, you could have had Josh Jacobs. Instead, you got Ricky Ricardo. That's an organization that doesn't have fear of spending. But they're not stupid spending. Dude, the Bryce Huff and the Bradberry deals and all those shitty White deals, it doesn't matter. Zeke, the fuck is that? You needed a running back, not a relic. The Cowboys signed relics. Like seriously, the Dallas Cowboys, and I dubbed them this 2 years ago, they're the Dallas Kardashians. No context of any substance. I mean, there's nothing there to that. Jimmy Johnson retired. You know what that did? It ended what the era was. You imagine having your best years owning the Cowboys in your first 6, and since then, the last 30 years have been nothing but a shit show. TV ratings, high revenues for your company, which is great. At the end of the day, Jeffrey Lurie cares about winning. Jerry Jones cares about raising the value of his team and being a TV star. He's the Donald Trump of NFL owners. I mean, shit, I was sitting here going, do you think they'll pay Jalen Carter $36 million a year? Turn around, they end up signing Saquon Barkley to making him the first $20 million a year guy. Fucking insane. It's tremendous. Hit the like button. Jeff Fisher's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Cowboys have restructured contracts. For what? Who's making these decisions? The same guy who's been making Cowboy decisions for 30 years? What is the difference between Jerry Jones and Joe Schoen in New York? Nothing. They are not good organizational people. Where have you proven that? This guy goes and says, Barkley had 1 year. You know what he really did too? He had to know the Giants were so full of shit that when Barkley came in the building and saw what he did, I couldn't tell you how many times, every time Saquon Barkley had the ball in his hand, I thought he was going to hit his head on the goalpost every time. It's true, Rico. The Cowboys are not relevant. They're like the Lakers of the NFL. All show, no context, and no substance. That's who the Lakers are. I mean, when you got LaFraud on your team, it's about, you know what you cover when you cover the Lakers? Same with the Cowboys. You cover Michael Parsons' sacks and LeBron James's points. You don't cover winning. And in Philly, you don't have people wanting to be TV stars. You see, it's one thing to wear the star on your helmet. It's another thing to act like a TV star. In Philly, they act like football stars. In Dallas, they're more, hey, see that star up there? See that star? They'd rather be TV stars. Eagles had a grand slam day. Bring money up. Dude, look, the Barkley money's great. It's the freeing of the money up that he's showing you what he's doing for Bond. He found $16.8 million in 2 days. Sileo's an Eagle fan. No, I'm a fan of people doing it right. And rewarding people who made an impact on your team. Do you know how many people in the NFL don't do that? And they try to make you feel like you're obligated because they gave you a job. Well, if you deliver the goods, you should be rewarded for that shit, not taken advantage of. That's the NFL. Shit. I'm speaking probably to many of you out there because I guess that's the real world too. Howie rewarded. Blake said, Sills, always have full faith in Howie. Guy always has a plan to make us better. We just have to sit back and be patient. The problem with that, Blaze, is they're not always successful. Let me tell you something. You're 4 years removed from a 4-win team. And you're 1 year removed from 1-7. That's the gamble you take when you have so much turnover on defense every year. I would say this. With that money being freed up, hey, guys, I think Zach Bond's getting on the open market. I think he's getting on the open market. We're going to talk to Jeff Fisher, former defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, head coach of the Titans, and also the Rams. I'll ask him about the tush push, too. He's now the new commissioner of the Arena Football One League. We're going to talk with him, and Jeff Fisher did coach my friend Jerome Brown and Reggie White, and he was Buddy Ryan's DC in Philadelphia, on arguably one of the greatest defenses of all time. You can make that argument now that what you saw this past February probably was the best defense in Eagle history. Hit the like button. I think you should be here. I think you should be more optimistic on signing Bond now. You should be more optimistic. People are like, Sills, they just gave him 20. Looking at the wrong number. Got to look at the bonus. First thing I saw was the bonus. I knew he freed money up. It's two reasons why they gave him an extension. He helped produce a Super Bowl, and it freed up $10 million. Why not? So if he goes out and they restructure Hurts' contract and they free up another $15 million on a cap that just shot up from 45 to 281. I don't know about you. This guy can go do whatever he wants. How we reset the running back market. $22. No, you should be, Sills. Don't you think by saving the exact number once this thing over, it's 16.8 he saved in 2 days that he cleared on the cap. I don't know. That sounds like the number to me, doesn't it? He said this at the combines. Did he not say this at the combines? Remember, when you pay here, you got to think about there. It's exactly what he's doing. He told you this a week ago, almost to the day. Get this. This guy Heath knows shit. McCaffrey set the market. McCaffrey set the market 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Barkley's now the hoss. He reset it. He signed a contract, and so did Henry. Signed for $9 million. This guy just signed for $20 million. You fucking tell me who said it. I think that's what you're saying. He apologized to you. This guy's ahead of the game. There's just no getting around it, and the owner allows it. It's the best owner. Get this. I'm trying to think of owner-general manager relationships that have worked in the NFL. Kraft and Belichick, because of the Super Bowls, is the greatest. But they never spent money. Howie's doing the same thing they did in New England, but spending dough. New England never had the highest paid player at any position, including Brady. Brady didn't start making big money until he got to Tampa. John Madden had nothing to do with Al Davis moving around pieces. It was all Al Davis tooling that team. Al Davis became a worse owner when he became a courtroom lawyer. Al Davis is a great football mind. He should have stayed on the field. That's why the Raiders are in purgatory now, because they spent 25 years in court, losing their way. You know, at one time, the Raiders had the highest win percentage of any team in NFL history. Well, that's gone away. And it only took 15 years. Poor management can turn your fortunes. Rooney and Noel. Get this. But that's a coach. Well, Belichick had to wear the hat at GM. Pioli wore it too. And so did Caserio. But yes, Noel was a great talent evaluator as well. Right. With all those draft picks in Pittsburgh. But here's the deal. No cap then. But I like that. Guys, hit the like button. Got a great day going on. I would expect here. I would expect this type of deal. 3 years, 50 million. For Zach Bond. I don't know what the bonus money will be. But I'll make a prediction. I think the Eagles are going to offer him anywhere between 3 years and $45 to $50 million. That'll be the number. $48, $50. And get this. He doesn't have to ruin his cap because he just cleared that money for it. And he'll have $1.8 million left to go sign Oren Burks. This makes sense. He's playing this. Dude, what he did today frees up 3 years, $48 million. Do you guys see it? If you don't, I'll explain it. 3 years, 40, it's too low. Let me see here. I think you got to be north, Arthur, of 45 or at 45. Then you clear Hurts and you make more room so that potentially you can offer here's what I'm seeing. I'm predicting that Bond and Becton will be back. Because I'm seeing if Hurts' deal's the next deal, or if they cut Goddard, or if they redo Landon or Mulata, that's Becton's money. They just made money for Bond. Jeff Fisher's going to join us in a couple minutes. Got a boatload of topics. We're going to look at the 2025 defense and my predictions on the Big Four. Becton, Bond, Milton, and Sweat. I'm not putting Isaiah Rodgers in there anymore. He's not in that room. Isaiah Rodgers is a swing corner who, in my opinion, could he start? How many teams do you think he could start on in the league? 6? Okay. It's not awful. I think he's got a role. I think he's a role player. I think he's got a role. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's just a little too small for me. I mean, he's a little dude. And I would worry about him against Terry McLaurin. I'll take McLaurin all night over him. Hit the like button. Jeff Fisher's going to join us in a couple minutes. Fast, athletic. I love him in the swing. Not as a starting corner. I do not. Okay? By the way, he's a good player. I want him on my team. He's not going to cost me a mint. He's good when players get injured. He's a good guy to have. I thought he had a really good year in that role. Now, how are we clearing this cap up? Is he clearing 16.8 up for this? Got 16.8 there. He turns around and clears another 10. You got Myles Garrett's number now. You get another $7 million. Now you're talking Myles Garrett money. You get Garrett in the building, restructure that $79 million, drop that bitch down, and go get Becton. I'm trying to think of salary cap people that have been great in the NFL. Patriots were great at it. That's why they won all them Super Bowls. They made the tough cut. By the way, I want to tell you what you're doing that's very Patriot-like. And I'm talking Super Bowl Patriot. They always had cap integrity. They never overpaid for anybody. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, the Eagles, have they overpaid for anybody? Bryce Huff, okay, that's a miss. Bradberry, I would have done it. Coming off an all-pro season, I would have did it. I would have. You know, it's okay to say that. totally how you save money and spend it accordingly. Never getting overextended. When's the last time the Eagles were over the cap? Can anyone tell me that? I don't remember. How many years? April's coming up. That's my 5th year. I don't think in the 5 years that dude's ever been over the cap. Has Howie ever been over the cap? The Cowboys live over the. Look at the fucking Saints. The only time he had really a lot of dead money was Alshon Jeffries. Help me if I'm wrong on this. The only time he really had big-time money on that cap that was dead money was Alshon Jeffries, and Wentz is 33, right? That 33 resulted in all those draft picks when they dealt his ass and brought back Devontae and all the rest of them guys like Jalen Carter, right? Look at the Saints. Force is right. The Saints are $60 million over the cap. Where are they going? And you got a quarterback who's horseshit. Where are you going? I mean, that's 5 years of digging out of a mud puddle. $60 million. Jeff Fisher's going to join us in a couple minutes. It should be entertaining because he coached Reggie. He's the commissioner of the AF1. I love spring football. Rock and him are given opportunities. So we're going to talk with him here. We got a ton of topics still. We're going to look at the 25 defense as it sits. But in my opinion, what you guys did today, you found your money for Zach. This is how this guy operates. You see, what Jerry will do is, Jerry will just write a check and say, fuck it, I'll deal with it later. Howie goes, no, I won't deal with it later. I'll deal with the problem now. And Roseman deals with the problem now, goes to his owner and says, I need X amount of money to make sure we don't have a Cowboy problem. This is Jerry's arrogance. I'll deal with it later. Dealing with it later, the ramifications are 4 playoff wins. You can't let that linger, or you're the Saints. You see where the two organizations are. Jerry goes, I'll stroke a $60 million annual check to Dak. This year I have $90 million on my cap because of that dude who's marginal at best. Dude, you can say whatever you want about Hurts' ability. Whatever they're doing, they're winning with that formula, with the cap formula, the playing and executing. It doesn't matter if it's 2903 passing yards. Get this. Super Bowl MVP is next. Seals, where do you see the Niners paying Purdy with the cap? Dude, it's a great question. If you're John Lynch, the GM of the Niners, and you're watching this, how are you not doing this? Hey, Jed York, the owner of the Niners, you need to be this. I'm going to make a point to you about something, which is going to blow your mind. Do you know every NFL team, 32 teams, make the same exact number when it comes to paying out all the teams, whether you're 16-0 are 0-16. The Bengals make the same money you make in Philly. Do you know that? You don't make, you're stroked a check at the beginning of the year off the TV contracts and the merchandising and advertising from the Super Bowl. Every team makes the same. Why doesn't every team win the same? Guys don't get it. The Bengals, the Jags, the Jets. Did you see today that the Jets cut Devontae Adams? Because they're saving cap. You wasted that equity picks with him to make that trade to bring him over. You look like dopes. I mean, you look like a dope. Shit show with the Jets. So, again, we're efforting our friend Jeff Fisher. I want to text him here. Sorry to produce on the fly here, but hopefully we can get him up here. Got a ton of, hey, we're going to look at the 2025 Eagles here. Hit the like button. Give me a total on where we are with the likes. D4 real. 16 million should get Bond done. Absolutely. You're going to hang on 3 years. You're going to hang on 3 years at around 48 million. 196, let's hit that. Woody Johnson's a joke. He's a joke. Washington. I like this guy, Adam Peters, and what he's doing. I do. We're going to take a look at this 2025 Eagle defense here in a second here. By the way, I'll make some predictions here for you. Okay? Josh Sweat. I think he goes to Arizona. Milton Williams. I think he signs with the Minnesota Vikings. Milton Williams is going to get offered a 4-year, $80 million deal with 60 in guarantees from the Vikings. Remember I said that. He's going to get an $80 million deal from the Minnesota Vikings. You know why? That guy in Dallas that they just gave that contract to, he's not better than Milton Williams. And that's what that guy got. That guy signed 4 years, $80 million, I think 38 in guarantees. Milton's going to get that. That's north of $22 million. That is a lot of money, man. Okay, a ton of money. We're working on Jeff Fisher, former defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, and also the head coach of the Rams and Titans. Hit the like button, guys. You guys have been great. Got so much, dude. you should really, really, really be excited. I think the chances of you signing Zach Bond right now, I think they've gone through the roof. Let me make this point to you, too. The Jets and the Giants are so poorly being run that you couldn't take a player off those teams and the Eagles would trade for one of them. Malik Neighbors for Devontae? Shit, let alone AJ, no. Your left tackle in New York, the Giants, for Mulata? No. Who? Sauce Gardner? No. Hey, by the way, we're having technical difficulties here. Xander, supposedly he's backstage, and he's not. Jeff Fisher. He's not backstage, so I don't know what this guy's talking about. Hopefully we can figure this out here. He's not backstage, so we're working on Jeff Fisher. It's not us, so to speak. So we appreciate you guys. Till then, thank you, Xander, very much. Swansky, players are going to want to play for the Eagles because time and time again, we reward them on a regular basis. You notice, though, they reward the offensive guys. They let Reddick walk. He had $30 million in guarantees. Okay? He had the $30 million. I do, but by the way, we're gonna get to Slay here in a minute. So yes. Hey. No, it's not us. It's a tremendous deal here by the Eagles here. I mean, the money, the savings that they ended up getting on this, they found the money for Zach Bond. They totally found it. Hit the like button. When I look at the four, I think you're getting Becton and Bond now. Or I think there's two dudes or two plans. You're getting a plan for Myles Garrett, or you're getting a plan for Bond and Becton. All right. Guys, I appreciate everybody. Please hit the like button here. So yesterday, we get Gary Cobb on all the time, right? We get Gary Cobb and Jeff Fisher. I didn't realize he played with Gary Cobb. So we're going to do this here in a minute. We're having some technical difficulties getting this thing up. So until then, we'll be able to get this going here. But Gary Cobb was on with me yesterday. And Gary Cobb played with Jeff Fisher at USC I believe for Coach McKay, when those guys were winning all those national championships. So we're efforting our friend here in a second. We hope to get him up here. Yeah, Jeff Fisher was also a member of the 85 Bears. He was also a D coordinator in Philadelphia during Gang Green. He was the guy and the architect. So we'll talk to him about Vic Fangio as well on building defenses. He built and helped build that defense with our friend. So let's see if we can get Coach Fisher up now. And he is now the new commissioner of the AFL. And here he is now. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Dan. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Coach, thank you for your patience. By the way, you have to get a shout out here. Gary Cobb was on yesterday, and G. Cobb said that make sure you tell Coach hello because, we won a lot of ball games together at Southern Cal.
Yes, we did. Yeah. I went down memory lane, over the last couple months with the passing of our coach, John Robinson. And it's really good to hear from Gary. Yeah. Make sure you tell him I said hello.
You
He was
bet.
a he was a few years older than I was, and he kind of showed me the ropes. Back in college days, when you walk in there and look around, go, oh my gosh, your heart start beating. He was one of those guys that put his arms around my shoulder and said, hey, let's go this way. So it was cool.
Absolutely. Coach, before we get into AFL 1 football here, I want to ask you about your time in Philly. We're based in Philly. You coached my running mate at Miami, Jerome Brown. You coached Reggie. You were there with Buddy. That's considered one of the greatest defenses in NFL history. Obviously, you were in Chicago with the 85 Bears, but just that time for you when you were in Philadelphia, what was that like, building that defense and having that group with Seth Joyner, Clyde Simmons, and all those guys?
Well, I mean, it was really, really special time for me, coming off the 85 Bears Super Bowl and then getting the opportunity, through Buddy to come in there and coach. And, I kind of thought maybe about playing a little bit longer, but he said, no, come on to do this. And then, watch him and the rest of the staff put that defense together. It was really amazing. Now, we can debate and people can argue back and forth on what's the best defense to ever go on the field. I think had we had a little bit better offense and been able to do it.
Coach, we lost your audio. Coach, we lost your audio. Coach, see if we can get him back up here again. Yeah, we lost his audio, man, because that's good. Because I'm going to ask him, Gang Green or the 85 Bears, what defense, in his opinion, because he helped put together both of them, 85 Bears or the Gang Green? I mean, those two defenses, and I agree because we've had Seth on before, and Seth made that comment that we just needed better offense there in Philadelphia at the time for them to be able to get that thing done. All great defenses. And by the way, one of the things too, Yale, that you really loved about those defenses were that you were able to keep them together here. So let's bring up Coach Fisher again. Hopefully we have the audio. Coach, we got you?
Can you hear me okay?
You got it. Coach, so I'm going to put you on the spot here. You ready?
Yes.
85 Bears or the Gang Green? What was the better unit?
I have to say, the Philadelphia Eagles. Only the 85 Bears, it was a sense of timing and Buddy's scheme. People had no idea how to attack it, how to protect the quarterback. And Buddy was so far ahead of offenses and protections. But things started to change and we had to adjust. And the versatility that we had, the secondary that we had, granted Gary Fensick and, Dave Duerson and Todd Bell the year before and things like that, Leslie Frazier and Mike Richardson, that was a good group. But we get in there and we got our own group in there now. You got Wes Hopkins, Terry Hogue, Andre Waters, guys that really, really knew and understood the defense. So I have to lean towards Philly. I was, I was part of the 85 Bears. I watched that defense come. I was one of those guys that signed that letter to Papa Bear House after my rookie year before he hired Mike. But this defense was special. You ask any of the quarterbacks. I mean, they just destroyed quarterbacks, destroyed offensive units, and the number of offensive tackles. We had Dallas offensive tackle retired, Monday before we played him a second time because he didn't want to face Reggie. So a tremendous group. I still miss Jerome. I talked to him, really a few weeks before he passed. He was giving me the update on how he's doing and where it was going. And I was with the 49ers at the time. And so, yeah, that was it's funny that you bring him up because, a few years ago now, we were discussing a defensive lineman that went by first name of Aaron, and I mentioned Jerome Brown in the meeting. I likened Aaron to Jerome Brown, and the guys in the draft room were like, "Well, who's Jerome Brown?" You know, so it was. And Aaron goes on and has a great career, but I think that I have to lean towards the Philadelphia defense. Thanks for the opportunity and the memories.
What I'll tell you, Coach, I loved playing with him at Miami when I was with Coach Johnson, and it was just, I mean, Jerome was one of my best friends, and he used to tell me one thing that he used to get a little pissed off about, though, riding his motorcycle in the old Philadelphia lot in the front there. All you guys during lunch break would see him driving his motorcycle up and down the place there, and you guys would always shake your head and go, "Come on now."
Oh, I had a number of conversations with him, even in bad weather and rain. He got that thing to, I don't even want to know how fast he was going, but it was well over 70 or 80 miles an hour. But yeah, and then you know what is interesting? You were his teammate. You can appreciate this. I got a call, unsolicited call from him, and he wanted me to know that he had lost some weight. That there was a rumor going around that he'd gone to, as he called it, a fat farm. But he wanted me to know that he's never been to a fat farm. He was doing it himself. He was going to get his weight down because he wanted to play, you know, as long as he possibly could, and felt like he played better when he had his weight down. And then unfortunately, a couple of weeks later, we lost him in the car accident.
Coach, before we get to AF1, I got to ask you one question as a coach. I've had everybody from Coach Dungy, Jimmy's come on. I'm going to ask you the question here. Do you like the tush push? How again, for a defensive-minded guy, would you defend it? And on top of that, I mean, Todd Bowles came out and said, you can't penalize one team because one team has figured it out. You got to figure out how to stop it. What side of the aisle are you on with this?
You know, I would agree that you have to figure out how to stop it. So I agree with Todd from that standpoint. But it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't, you know, and you can sit there and go, all right, well, in the rule book, it says you can't assist the runner. Okay. But the rule book also is specific from a standpoint of you can't pull the runner towards his goal line or away from his in line. There's nothing that says you can't push him. And so I see the dilemma that they have. It doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. All the emphasis, remember all the emphasis on protecting the snappers? You know, when the league came out, because you know, the long snappers and all this stuff. And so now you got to line up well outside the framework of his body, and you can't hit the long snapper in the head and all this stuff. And now we got, even though the long snapper was a little small, and on top of that, when they passed that rule, now you got athletes in there and guys are running down making tackles, which is all well and good, but you got a bunch of guys in a small confined area. You know, fortunately, we haven't had any injuries. Maybe it's an injury-free play. I don't know. I'm torn right now. I'm still caught in the assisting the runner part.
Yeah, Coach, like the pushing him, I think that, again, has to be legislated a little bit because, again, it becomes a rugby play kind of in a way. But I'm with you, Coach. I'm over here one day, then I'm also over here. So anyway, Coach, AF1, you guys signed a great deal on Monday. You got now like a betting firm now to invest. What are we going to expect? And by the way, if you see one of my helmets up there, I'm a big proponent of spring football. The Rock has been on our show. I'm dear friends with him. I love the opportunity to give guys a great chance to go on and play and keep their dreams alive. That's kind of what you're doing here a little bit. Give us a little bit of a synopsis and overview of what you're now the commissioner of the AF1 Football League. Tell me what we're going to see this year. Tell me your involvement in it with being the commissioner.
Let me back up just a little bit. I was approached here well over a year ago by an ownership group here in Nashville. And it was I got involved and sat down at a lunch with them based on a misunderstanding. I thought they were going to bring in some more 11 on 11, XFL merger, USFL, going to bring a team to Nashville. And so I thought, oh, yeah, I'll help. I know Nashville. I know the market. I know people here. I'm living here. And, I'd be happy to help you. Well, it wasn't that. It was an ownership group that was trying desperately to bring back the Nashville Cats. And so I listened and weeks went by, and then brought another buddy in, and we were kind of talking, and the more we talked, the more interested and intrigued I became. Now, this is coming from a guy that was a head coach that had a full-on practice facility and knew that the Cats were practicing our indoor, but never took the time because I was so busy to go in there and watch them practice. And I never saw a game up until, last year in person. And so, one thing led to another, and I realized that even in Nashville, there's a fan base, and there's a different type of fan. The demographic is different. These people just love football, and they want to get up close and personal. And the more I found out about it, the more I became interested in wanting to help. Well, things didn't go the way we had liked them to go last year for a lot of different reasons, but we did finish. We finished with a highly competitive final game, which we had Billings and Albany, and a great game up there in Jersey. And so at that point, we all kind of rolled our sleeves up, all the teams that survived, and said, all right, let's do this right. And so we decided to do it right. And so here we are. Initially we thought we would probably enter this season with a couple more teams than we are. We have 10. And that number's good. We had a couple that I guarantee you will be back for 26. They just couldn't get it right, and we didn't want to burden the league or the league staff or the other teams with their financial woes. So we set a bar pretty high from that standpoint, and so we got 10 solid teams. And we've had a great offseason. We have in general business principles, the better people you surround yourself with, the more success you're going to have. And that's what we tried to do. Jerry Kurz and, Gary Compton and Christy McHugh and our ownership group or management group done a great job. We've had, and again, on top of that, we've got solid franchises that have been in this. Now, you're a fan. You understand what I'm saying when you talk about the Albany franchise, and there's fathers of sons who are currently playing that are in some kind of Hall of Fame there in Albany. I mean, you got a generational thing going. I invite friends of mine to the Nashville Cats at Billings last year. They'd never seen an indoor game before. These are Montana buddies of mine, fishing buddies, and they're still talking about how much fun they had and the enthusiasm and excitement. What I'm about the dad that's got the son or the daughter on his shoulders. He's got two more in each hand, and he's walking in there for a good time. And unfortunately, we didn't get to maximize that. This year, we're going to maximize, and we're going to maximize it for the future. As you say, yeah, we have some good stuff going. We just announced, and this coming Friday in Tampa Bay, I'm really excited about it as well. I'll be meeting with Hulk Hogan, who's releasing this new American beer, real American beer, and we're going to partner with them. So there's a lot of good things. Our partnerships with Vice, our partnerships with Evergreen, our partnerships with Even Better, and so we got a lot of stuff going on, and we're releasing a lot of this stuff this week. We are, our opener is Saturday night. And I'm going to make that trip. And Southwest Kansas and Dodge City is hosting Orlando on Saturday, and then our Nashville Cats are going to be opening their season on Monday at Corpus. So got a little bit of travel ahead, but all things aside, things are rolling along. This is going to be an exciting year. It's going to be a inaugural season for AF1, and on top of that, it's going to be that building block where we establish a standard. And from a player standpoint, the things we're doing in the officiating world are really, really exciting. We've got great leadership, and I don't know if people are aware of this, but 60% of those guys that they're doing NFL games right now, especially the referees, the white hats, they've all had experience in this league. So a lot of fun stuff ahead.
Coach, I'm going to tell you, I was a second-round draft choice. Then I played in Canada. Then I played in the World League. And I will tell you this, I played arena ball for the Las Vegas Sting, and I played against the Predators and the Storm. And when they put me out there as a left tackle, I got to tell you, that's a little bit different of the whole world on putting me on the other side. All I did was grab. Now I realize all the bitching that I did against the offensive lineman, because I realized that's me having to get out there. That's not that easy of a skill set to go from one side of the ball to have to play both sides of the ball. I enjoyed it. And by the way, I played against Albany. I played against teams in Milwaukee. That is a great fan base up there. They love that football team up there. I mean, I know there's been different leagues, and you guys are kind of absorbing a little bit of that now. But, hey, man, I'll tell you this. We played in front of 25,000 at the MGM Grand Garden, and I really enjoyed that league. I had a great time in it. And then I went up to Canada and played too, but I wanted to keep my dream alive. And I love the fact that you guys, again, are putting that old news aside here and expanding and going forward.
We are. Now, you bring up an interesting point. Back in the day, you participated in this in the indoor when we were talking about Ironman, and where guys are playing both ways and both sides, and there's substitution issues. That was special back then. Our game is not necessarily Ironman anymore. It's free substitution.
That's great.
It's really exciting. For example, we had I think 2 or 3 guys after week 1 or week 2 here in Nashville that went to NFL camps. Draft was over, end of April. Guys looking at the free agents and said, hey, we want somebody to come to camp that's in shape. Well, here's a long receiver that can run, that can catch out of frame. Let's sign him. And so to your point about guys keeping the dreams alive, there's almost a better opportunity because we're not going both ways. And so I think it's a little more attractive, and you're seeing more plays, and we can debate that all we want, but I'm excited about the way we've structured things. And these young players are special. I had much like you in your playing career, I kind of stepped out of the NFL. Coaching, I was a head coach for 21 plus years. And the reality is that coaching is all about helping people. It's about helping players develop, helping them develop, intellectually and from a maturity standpoint, and watching people, young, really good college athletes settle down into a job environment where they become real pros. And so with that premise in mind, where you're helping people, I stepped out and wanted to continue helping people. I was involved in the AAF. I worked with Bill Polian and Charlie Ebersol. Ebersol didn't coach, but was just kind of helping behind the scenes. I was on the call when we got the call, and we had to shut practices down.
I love Charlie Ebersol. He was on my show, and I met him in San Diego. And he's just an absolutely spectacular guy. Unfortunately, things didn't roll out for him, but he had really great intentions on what he wanted to do.
Yeah, and so I then jumped and moved over to I got a call from Fox Sports and those guys, and they wanted me to come in and help launch the USFL effort. So I ended up down in Birmingham with everybody, and I was only going to do it for a year, but I ended up coaching for a year down there. Absolutely loved it. Roll your sleeves up, put water bottles in your back pocket, empty water bottles when practice is over, and then go back to the hotel and buy the players pizza. I mean, I just loved it. And the uniqueness of these players, it was special. And they're just trying to reach this and trying to reach this dream, and, to be able to help them and share stories and do those kind of things. So that's kind of how I'm wired. And that's particularly why I got into this, because I just enjoy helping. I got 7 grandkids. I'm right now, I'm at my farm here outside of Nashville. I'm very blessed. I like staying busy and helping people, and there's no better place for me to do it than inside of a football league. And I'm jacked up about AF1. And I'm going to Tampa on Friday. I'm going to Dodge City on Saturday. I'm going to Corpus on Sunday. And I'm going to get around this league just to meet the players and meet the fans and to thank the sponsors, because this is cool. I mean, it is. We have a generation here in Nashville that was part of a 6, 7, 8,000 people per game over at Bridgestone Arena with the hot tubs and everything. And now you got a new generation that are fascinated by it. And so it's just a lot of fun.
Coach, I can't wait. I'm going to be rooting for it. I will be covering it. I will be watching you guys. You're welcome here anytime. We have a gigantic audience. We'd love to be able to be part of what you guys are doing. And again, Coach, you're one of my favorite coaches too, man. And I just always remember, you know, I talked to Mike Martz about this a couple times. Hey, man, you're this far away from nobody knowing who you are.
Yeah.
And Coach, I'll leave that alone for you. You're this far away in the Super Bowl from nobody knowing who you are. And he started laughing. So, hey, Coach, congratulations to your success. We'll be covering it. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Love to come on anytime, and appreciate your support and your interest as well. Thank you so much.
You got it. Coach Jeff Fisher. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it very much. That's absolutely awesome. Make sure you guys check that stuff out. I was absolutely floored that Coach Fisher picked Gang Green. Wow. You got to remember, I played in the league at that time in the 80s, and I played against the 87 Bears. That was my first year in the league when I got drafted by the Bucks. And they had Richard Dent, you know, Dan Hampton, all them guys, just a phenomenal. Now, that team that Coach had, they had Wilbur Marshall on it. Wilbur played at Florida when I was at UM, and Wilbur Marshall, in my opinion, one of the most underrated players in the history of the National Football League. You want to know a guy who invented snot bubble hits? That is your guy, was Wilbur Marshall. That guy was an amazing hitter, and that team had amazing hitters on it. But I told you numerous times, when I was based in Tampa with WDAE, Andre Waters and I became friends. And that sign you see behind me with Jerome Brown there, Andre signed that for me when it was Jerome's golf tournament up in Brooksville. And all those guys from that team, Wes Hopkins, all those guys were just phenomenal people, man. I cannot believe. Xander, can we please put out that Jeff Fisher picked Gang Green over the 85 Bears? This guy was part of that 85 Bears team, and he was the D coordinator of Gang Green. That would mean, in his opinion, that Gang Green is one of the greatest defenses in history. Where does this last group? Now, here, I'll make this point to you. I don't think this last group, albeit they got the Super Bowl. Well, I'll ask Eagle fans this question. Who's a better defense? The Reggie White team or the Super Bowl one? Mike Singletary was on that 85 Bears team. Wow. They never went to a Super Bowl. Correct. They never went more. Hey, nobody like Reggie or, well, wait. Jerome and Jalen. You heard he compared Jerome Brown. Guys, I am so happy that he said this. I compared Jalen Carter to Jerome Brown. He compared Jerome Brown to Aaron Donald. Do you understand now what I'm saying? Okay? That's praise I don't give. You understand? Jeff Fisher, who drafted Aaron Donald, with the Rams. He drafted him. Said that he reminds him of Jerome Brown. I told you that Jalen Carter reminded me of Jerome. That means Jalen Carter has the same ability and maybe an opportunity to beat Aaron Donald. Well, so when I ask you that question, do you pay the guy $40 million? I think today we answered it twice. With the Barkley signing and what we just heard there. Wow. Carter can only get better. Absolutely. Sills, until this current group does it with consistency, Gang Green will still be the best. That team was so, he's right. The offense hurt them. My God almighty. That defense was so amazing. I can't wait to tweet that out. And I hope we get the soundbite to that he would take Gang Green over the 85 Bears. Do you understand? The 85 Bears is considered the greatest defense of all time. And that guy was part of the coaching staff with Buddy Ryan that built that team. And then he became the DC in Philly with Gang Green. That's incredible. Hit the like button. I'm going to take a time out here in a second. But I do want to do this. I want to reset. And I do want to do a topic before we take a time out here. Hit that like button, guys. We'll reset the Barkley conversation in the final hour of the program. Xander's going to join us at the bottom here. Let me ask you something here. Here is your current defense. Aaron Donald said Carter reminds him of himself. Dude, and you heard the coach who drafted him. Here is your current defense. Right now, with players that have contracts going into 25. Look, the draft is in April. Free agency still there. But as of today, here's your defense. Moro Jomo at left defensive end. Nose tackle. Jordan Davis. Right defensive end. Jalen Carter. Will linebacker. Nolan Smith. Left inside linebacker. Jeremiah Trotter. Right inside linebacker. Nakobe Dean. Strong side linebacker. Jalix Hunt. Left corner. Q. Strong safety. CJ. Free safety. Reed Blankenship. Right cornerback. Keely Ringo. Nickel. Cooper DeJean. How do you feel about that defense? Is that the number one defense? Now, look, it's going to change. Not saying it's not. But right now, this is what you have. Players who have 2025 contracts. Is this the number one defense? Moro Jomo. He is not Milton Williams. Jordan Davis. Okay. Carter, just talked about. Nolan Smith, who's injured, but should be ready. Jeremiah Trotter, who I don't think is ready. So you really think Jeremiah Trotter is going to give you the same production that Zach Bond did? Yeah, We're not talking about adding Myles Garrett. I'm telling you what you have under contract right now. You're not listening. You got to look at the holes. This is what you have under contract. Moro Ajomo at left defensive end. Jordan Davis at nose. By the way, will it change? Of course it's going to change. It's not theory. Get this. This guy's telling me theory when this is who you have under contract on March 4th. How's that a theory? How is that a theory? What's the theory? Moro Ajomo, Jordan Davis. These are the players you have that have 2025 contracts. It's not fucking theory. I never said it was final. This is where you have to look at your holes that you think you may have on defense on March 4th. What are you missing? Hey, do you have the, what do you want to reach around? Do you have the guy to make it bet? Yes. Right now, do you believe Moro Ajomo is going to give you the same production as Milton Williams? Okay, Vic, we trust. Remember, it's not about scheme. It's about Jimmys and Joes. Scheme does help. I completely agree. Trotter, I question. Hunt will never start there. I don't think. Huge. See, who you put in that right corner? So, I would say this. I need another left defensive end. I need another strong side linebacker, edge. I need a corner. Might be Slay. I don't know. I need an inside linebacker. You need 5 questions answered. End, linebacker, edge, and corner. Again, how will those questions be answered? March 4th? I thought today was the beginning of answering it by freeing money up. Dude, I have endlessly just said it for the last 5 minutes. This is not the finished product. Nobody's saying that. Okay? Nobody is saying that. Follow along. Try to. This is where Howie is. And today, by freeing that money up, you may be answering the question on Bond. Now, I'm going to go here and by the way, Kyle is right. If you think you're going to answer a lot of your questions in this shitty draft, you're high. I don't think there's a lot of good players in it. I think there's like 12 good players. I think the rest of them, from like, again, we said this the other day, 15 to 50, I think they're the same guys. I don't think this is a strong draft. The free agency is not very good too. Where the best bet is Howie re-signing his own guys. Do you get? Hey, I'd rather re-sign my guy. Now, the number for Milton Williams is probably out of hand. 4 years, $80 million. Howie ain't signing that. He's not. So let's go here. I think it's a gamble. How many people think it's a gamble for Howie to have cut Slay? Stills, not to switch things up, but the University of Miami helmet belongs next to. Okay, not that Dallas one. I will fix that. I promise you, I will fix that. You're right. I should have thought better of that. How many people in here believe that they think this Slay deal is more trickier than just releasing the player to free up cap money? Who are you having play corner out there? Are you going to draft another corner? I don't think so. Is Howie really going to go into free agency and spend $10 million on Asante Samuel Jr.? I don't think so. And I don't think Kelee Ringo. I heard the DB's coach. He should have been, if he was good, how Vic would have played him last year. Vic would have played him. Do you go get the kid from the Jets? What's that? That kid Reed? You signed him? Do you take the gamble on putting Isaiah Rodgers out there? I don't think Isaiah Rodgers can handle a full game playing against number one wideouts or playing against number one or number two wideouts. I don't think he's good enough. I think he's really good in his role. How about that Reed kid? I thought the Jets had great corners 2 years ago. And putting Kelee Ringo? Kelee Ringo's not your answer. Now, I heard Xander and John going, Cooper's good enough to put out there. Well, I've never seen him play corner in the NFL. I'm not saying he can't. It's going to be a question. I'm completely confident he can do it. Okay, that's your right to say that. But once again, he's not done that. They're two different positions. It's a fraudulent number on his grade on playing corner versus playing slot corner and playing actual corner. Your own D coordinator tells you they're two different skill sets. I remember that Rams game Rodgers got picked on. Put CJ in the slot and get a safety. You know, one thing that's not awful. I'll tell you why. Gardner Johnson never played safety before until he got to the Eagles. He was a corner down in New Orleans. Okay? I don't know. He might be able to play that position. That's not awful thinking. Shit, they tried Bradberry in that role this past offseason. So that's not awful. Okay? I don't know what Sidney Brown is. I think he over pursues. I want to see him healthy. See, Sidney Brown can stay. Again, you're talking about another question. Here, you're trying to eliminate questions. Here's the questions you have right now on your defense today, March 4th. Who picks up production for left end? Who picks up production for left inside linebacker? Who picks up production for strong side linebacker, edge? Who picks up production for one of your corners? Those are your questions. And Howie we trust, for sure. But I don't think you're in a very good climate to rebuild. Not because you can't. With who? The draft? The shitty free agency? Or your current? I think there's a current amount of sandboxes you can be in. Are you going to go free agent? Are you going to go draft? Or your own? Free agency is going to cost you money. Your own is going to cost you more money. The draft is a higher risk. How are you rebuilding those 5 questions on defense on March 4th? Once again, you're on the pole position. You're the champs. Not saying, look at Spike. Spike, you'll be fine. Spike, who plays left end? This guy's dumb. Cooper will reset the market at what? Nickel corner? At what corner? At cornerback? So you think Cooper DeJean is going to be better than Patrick Surtain and Derek Stingley? Why didn't he start over Q if he was better? Q played the tougher position by far. The second most, how about this? The most difficult position to play in the league athletically is corner. You know why? It's the only position where you constantly backpedaling. You rarely go forward. You're constantly playing in a back pedal. You've got to run with the fastest men in the world backpedaling. Try that in your cul-de-sac. Find the fastest beer drinker you know in your cul-de-sac and see how long you can stay with him running in a straight line and you backpedaling and have to have proper technique with the sideline. Super Bowl sales, hey, you ain't got the same unit. Not yet. Now, you get Garrett for Hunt. Here. You put Garrett on the other side. That frees up Ojamo. That frees up Nolan Smith. Those guys ain't going to get doubled. Those guys are going to have one-on-ones all night. You have one-on-ones all night long. Somebody's got to account for two people on Carter and on Garrett. You got to put a linebacker on Garrett every single time. Do you know what that means to Nolan Smith? Dude, I don't give a shit about Jalen Hunt if I'm playing against the Eagle defense. He don't do anything for me. Myles Garrett, I got to put two guys. I got to put a tight end and a tackle on him, which means Nolan Smith is free to rush on the open side of the field. He's the will, which means he's on the weak side, and which means he sprints and he rushes in space. This replacing Slay is more difficult than you think, and it's more of a gamble. The best option is to re-sign him. I think John and Xander are too high at 10. What's the point of cutting him for $2 million to take a gamble like that? I mean, if you're cutting Slay so that you can create more cap space, 4.3. Then you're going to turn around and sign him to a $10 million deal. What's the savings? You're not going to give him signing bonus money to lower that number? Are you going to go like this? 5 base, 5 sign? Is that what you're going to do? Like I pointed to you, guys, they freed the money up to make you have to see what I've been saying to you today. There is no question how he showed you how he does, how he performs his cap. Pays the offensive guys, and he pays the defensive guys with the cap space. He doesn't spend any money on defense. That's not what he does. He spends the money and the cap space on that side. That's why they're limited contracts. And nobody has earned a second contract on that defense There's not one player that's playing. I think maybe Reed. Maybe one player on that defense that has earned a second contract. There's a reason for that. That's why there's constant turnover over there. BG doesn't play there anymore. I said right now, there is not one defensive football player, maybe Reed, that has earned a second contract. Okay? So, look at what he does. He freed the cap space up. He freed the cap space up with the signing of Barkley today for $10 million. Dude, what do you think is more valuable? What do you think is more valuable to Howie? The $20 million that they gave Barkley annually, or the $10 million in space, along with the 4-3 from the Slay cutting and the 2-1 from the Bradberry release today? 16-4. There's your money for Zach Bond. Do we know for sure Slay still wants to play? Well, we're only going by what he said. Okay, I'm only going by what he said and what you guys are saying. That's right, Bob. Guys, all supers go to the top. Okay? And by the way, guys, there's not one fucking thing I'm not even going to address who said it. Nobody's making anything up here. This is where you are on March 4th. This is what you've done so far since the Super Bowl. There's no theory here. This is how he pays for his defensive guys. When he got rid of Hassan Reddick, what did he do? He paid Huff with Reddick's money. He didn't spend any more. It's not like he elevated the goalpost on that side of the ball. He moved money around. A week ago today, he said the same shit that I'm saying right now. See, to me, this Slay, who are you playing at corner? So are you going to weaken your nickel to put DeJean on the corner? Hey, quite frankly, I don't give a fuck about Cooper DeJean's agent. What's in the best interest of my defense? He may want to play corner. I don't care. What helps me get to a Super Bowl? Him in the nickel or him on the corner? I know in the nickel, it resulted in a Super Bowl. So, I mean, that's not saying he can't. Not saying that. So what are you going to do with Slay here? Bring him back? I would. I'd bring him back. Hit the like button. I think we're going to catch up with Xander. I'm not sure. I saw him leave the building a couple times. So I know he has a ton of shit to do too. I see him. All right. I want to make this point one more time to you guys. Today was a great day. Because you're finding dough. And true, Kyle, all options. Dude, the chances of re-signing Zach Bond, I think elevated today. All right, hit the like button. And doing a great job on that show in the morning, man. Really just super stuff there with Birds 365. Please make sure you check it out. Xander works like a horse, dog. We so appreciate him doing that. Hit the like button, guys. How about Jeff Fisher, too, man, saying that Gang Green was better than the 85 Bears? I was floored. when I heard that. I think he was a coach for the Eagles for 6 years, something like that, working with Buddy Ryan. Without further ado, our boy Xander Krauss, Big Z, joins us right now. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
All good, man. Hey, let's start it out with Barkley's deal, man. Give me your takeaway on it.
I love it, man. Good stuff. This is what Howie does best. Remember back on the show a couple of weeks ago, I said I think Howie might be giving Saquon an extension this summer. Even John was like, nah, they're not going to do that. They don't need to do that. So I felt like it was coming. It's one of the things that Howie does. The cap is one thing. And by the way, I thought you put on a masterclass. I didn't hear all of it yet, but I've already started to listen to it because we had another show, breaking news show as well. So I didn't hear it all, but you put on a masterclass. That the cap is great, but other players in this league look around and they're like, boy, if you go to Philadelphia and you play well and you give them what they ask, you get paid, man. This is the second time in the same calendar year contract year for Saquon that he was re-upped. And he didn't sign a one-year prove-it deal. He signed a big money deal. And he goes out and does what he does and how he pays him. And there's no way GMs, other players in the league don't look at that. And then the other thing I'll add in is, Sills, 1 week before free agency.
Oh, it's
did the
great.
Same thing with A.J. Brown last year. So this is where Howie Roseman, he sets the market. He doesn't chase the market. He's the first one out. Credit to the owner for giving him so much cash to play with up front. But, man, they're really operating at a high level right now. And, look, the window's now. Everybody's telling me to worry about the cap. Worry about what's coming in the future. Why the fuck would I worry about cap hits in 2028? Our Super Bowl window's right now. It's right now. It's not in 2028. It's right now. And Howie's building the best team right now for the Super Bowl window. I love it, man.
Look at this here. So he frees up $10 million today. He freed up 4.3 yesterday, and he freed up 2.1. Dude, there's your 16.4 for your boy.
Yeah. Now, John,
remember what he said a week ago today. Remember, when you're making these deals, don't look at what we're doing now. Look at what we do over the 6 months. And he also said this: you got to remember, you got to take from here to be able to appropriate there. And that's what he did here, dude. He gave, and do you agree with me? Not a lot of people have hit this area here with this, but I think he signs those offensive guys, and I think he builds that defense with the cap space. When he saves that money on that side of the ball, because look at the salaries alone that are on that side of the football now. He takes that space and he fills the gaps with the guys on defense. That's why you got one group with extended contracts on one side, and you really don't have a lot of long length of deals with big money on the defensive side. Nobody really makes any money on defense.
Yeah, no, they don't. You're not wrong about that.
And look, where he gets that is he takes that cap space, and that's how he replenishes his defense. Now, it's a tough pot, but the last 3 years, he's been to Super Bowl twice. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm now under for me, Xander, I know you're going to love this. For me, the 23 season now, I'm going to throw that in the garbage can now because 2 of the 3 years you've been to the Super Bowl and you won one of them and you lost the other fucker by 3. I don't know, dude. I mean,
23 is the outlier. Yeah, and remember, they were a good team in 23. I mean, they weren't, they weren't 4-11.
No,
they were 10-1 at one point.
Yeah.
So they were at one point they were a good team before they were not a good team. But no, you're right. I mean, it's impressive what they do. And I spoke to John specifically about what you just said. Like, is this for Garrett? Is this for Becton? Is this for Bowen? And John's answer was good, and I think it's insightful and worth sharing. That while, yes, it could be for those guys, it's not specifically about those guys. This is a philosophy that this organization has and follows because it gives them the best chance to construct a good football team year in and year out. And they've gotten better and better at it. Now, Becton is the name and Bowen is the name and Garrett's the name today. But next year we'll be talking about different names we need to sign and there'll be new extensions and new things that happen. So this is the philosophy. It only works, by the way. This philosophy only works when you draft good players and you evaluate talent correctly. There's going to be some misses. Obviously, Bryce Huff was a miss and some of those stuff. But if you don't draft, I mean, think about it. You just said it. Dude, if they didn't draft good on defense, you'd be talking about a bunch of stiffs. But they drafted well. They've maximized the windows that they have when good players are on rookie deals. And boy, has it worked out for them well. And we'll see what they end up doing here with free agency right around the corner now.
Cowboys don't deal in substance and reality. The Eagles deal in substance and production.
Yep.
That's why their salary cap looks completely different. I mean, I mentioned it yesterday. I mean, Dak Prescott's got a $90 million hit. Hurts has got a $21 million, and the guy makes $9 million more in Dallas. And the guy in Philly has been to 2 Super Bowls and won one. I'm not fucking getting that.
Right.
Where are you going with that? You can't rebuild the football team when you're dicking around with guys on the perimeter. Look at what the Cowboys are doing. The Cowboys are taking perimeter people and extending them, a receiver and an edge rusher. Those guys have no impact on 2 of the things that win games, stopping the run and running the ball.
Yep.
I mean, and by the way, Howie today reset the market for running backs. Saquon Barkley and Howie Roseman have now elevated, along with Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, hell, even Aaron Jones. Look at all the production. Every one of those teams, guys I just mentioned, Xander, helped their team get to the playoffs.
It's amazing.
Every one of those guys. And
did Saquon?
The Jets are going to cut Devontae Adams. I mean,
dude,
get the running game.
Did Saquon Barkley single-handedly save the running back position in one season? I mean, he's making over $20 million. And by the way, deservedly so, man. He looks like he deserves.
What are you thinking if you're the Giants right now?
Well, I mean, here's the tough part about this conversation, and I say this as an Eagle fan. So most Eagles fans will watch and be like, "You should crush the Giants. Fuck the Giants." I get it. Fuck the Giants. You're right. You're not wrong. But let's be real. If Saquon Barkley signed this contract in New York, he wouldn't be doing this. This is the Giants made a bad move.
That's not my angle. You should have been building O-linemen and quarterbacks and defenses.
Since you drafted the guy. Yeah, I agree. Well, I agree with that. But I'm just saying, in a vacuum, it's not, he wouldn't have been doing this in New York, but it's got to hurt. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with that GM. That guy has really not proven fucking any. I mean, what has that guy proven he can do? He has done. Has the New York Giants gotten better since he's taken over?
No,
1 year?
Worse.
I mean, I don't know if they've improved.
Even with Kayvon Thibodeau and with Brian Burns, they still stink.
They stunk.
And you got Dexter Lawrence in the building, and the Eagles had all of these players, these young guys, and they were a better front than Brian Burns, Lawrence, and with Kayvon Thibodeau. And the Eagles were still better than you, and you paid all that money.
It's got to hurt. It's got to hurt to be a New York Giant fan right now, no doubt.
No question. Bro, I look like an ass bite now asking you the stupid question at the beginning of the show here. I mean, after what they just did with Barkley, do you really believe next year in the offseason they're going to give him a $40 million per year deal? Jalen Carter, he's eligible next year.
He's eligible next year. It's going to be whatever sets the market is. And look.
And right now, 36, it's 31-7. I think that's what Chris Jones.
Chris Jones is the top guy. And then the second guy is like 27. So you might shatter Chris Jones. You'll get to 33, maybe 34, 35. But look, this is how Howie does business. He's going to set the market. Jalen Carter is obviously going to be he's a really good player. So they're going to pay him whatever he wants, basically. And they're going to do it the same way. They're going to do a lot of cash up front. There's going to be a lot of guaranteed money in the deal, and they're going to be able to manipulate that contract all throughout the duration of it whenever they need more cap space to flip it around. So he's going to get big bucks, and I'm not going to cry about it for 1 second, man.
I'll tell you what. I'm having so much fun. I haven't even taken a break today, which is insane. I mean, because there's so much.
Make sure you get your live reads in. I'll get crucial.
Yeah, your pop's going to kick my ass if I don't get it.
Kick my ass first, all right? So come on, get the fucking live reads in.
I will. Hey,
you're a phone call away,
Hey, listen, I got to tell you this, bro. That Slay cut, I get it all, and I understand it. That's not that easy of a move here now. What are you doing there? Here, let me give you the team. How do you feel about your team today? And look, of course, everybody's going to start fucking moaning. I'm telling you where you are under contract right now. The draft, free agency, and your own dudes. There's 3 sandboxes. I get it. But right now, with players on contract, here's your defense. And I think you got 5 questions. Moro Ajomo is now your left DE. Your nose tackle is Jordan Davis. Your right defensive end is Jalen Carter. Pretty good. Your will is Nolan Smith. Injured, but should be ready for the season. Your left inside linebackers, Jeremiah Trotter. These are guys all under contract right now. Your right inside linebackers, Nakobe Dean, could miss the first part of the month, or first month of the season, September. Your strong side linebackers, Jalix Hunt. Your left cornerback is Q. Your strong is CJ. Your free is Reed. Your right corner is Keely Ringo. And your nickel corner is Cooper DeJean. My question right now would be, okay, you've got a question, whatever you want to phrase the question, at left defensive end with production.
Yes. You've
got a question at left inside linebacker with Trotter when it comes to Bond's production. Trotter ain't giving you that. Your strong side linebacker, is Jalix Hunt going to give you the same reps and production that Josh Sweat did to help you get the #1 defense and win a Super Bowl? And at corner, I heard you this morning. So it's not that I don't think he can play it, Xander, but then you're going to have 2 question marks with moving one guy. Who plays nickel? And can DeJean go out there and play? Now, you could have a level of confidence that he can get out there. You still got to see him do it and get out there and play because, again, dude, playing nickel corner versus playing corner itself, it's 2 different skill sets. It's not the same guy. It's not the same position at all.
Yeah.
Those are my questions. Not saying they can't be in the draft, but here.
Yeah, we're still early. I mean, they're going to address
totally
some.
Early.
Yeah,
totally early. Look, but free agency blows. The draft is not the best. To me, the best option for the Eagles is to somehow get their own guys in the room.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. And look, a lot of this is going to depend on who gets signed because, like, and when I say what I mean by that is, like, I said yesterday I want Slay back. If you tell me that I have to compromise because they're going to sign Bond and Becton and they can't afford Slay, okay, I can live with that. But if you're telling me Bond might be gone, Becton might be gone, Milton and Sweat are gone, I'm going to be like, hey, man, like, bring back Slay. Like, he's worth bringing back because you're going to need some stability on that defensive side. So, you know, there's going to be a little bit of lenience on either side, but I think the priority has to be Zach Bond. We talked about this yesterday. I don't see how you could let this guy go. I don't see how you would let this guy walk out the room. I think his impact on this defense has been comparable to the impact of Jalen Carter. I'm not saying he's the most as talented as Carter, but the impact in this system, in this scheme, in this city for this defense was comparable to Jalen Carter. And I don't think you let that guy walk out the room. I don't care what the money is. I don't care I don't care what it is. I'd rather go that route. And you know, still something I'm warming up to right now. All right. And I didn't think I was going to be at this point. I'm starting to like some of the edge rushers I think are going to be available at 32. Now, you're not getting the cream of the crop guys. There's going to be a couple guys that go early. But if you tell me Landon Jackson falls to 32, dude, I would jump on that so fast with him. There's a couple other guys that are out there as well.
Plus with Vic.
Huh?
Plus with Vic.
Right, with Vic. Now, that's a gamble, right? That's a gamble. That's saying we need a draft, another rookie to contribute. Again, you're playing odds there. You know, it's not always going to work out. So I don't love that. But if that's what you have to do and you bring back Bond and Becton, I feel pretty good about that. I really do. But we'll see what ends up happening. By the way, Jalix Hunt, he really came on at the end of the year. I'm not saying he's going to be Sweat, but Sweat had, 8 sacks last year?
Yeah, but
Jalix Hunt had 1.5, and he had 1.5 in the playoffs, which was more than Sweat in the playoffs. So
yeah,
I'm not saying he's going to be 8.5, but can he be 4.5? Can he be 5? Can he be 6? Somewhere in that range? Can he eat up 30% of the snaps versus last year he was 10 to 15% or whatever it was? You know, that's what I'd like to see from him. And then if you can create a rotation on that other side, I'd feel much better about it.
See, the problem that I have with Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt they were the equivalent of Bryce Huff in New York. They're 500 snaps, something like that, with high production.
Yeah.
You put 900 snaps on someone.
It's
Let's
different.
see who you are then.
Right.
When you got
Which
to
is
play
maybe
that
the
amount
most
of
impressive
volume.
part of Carter's year, right? Is
That's
how good
right.
he played at the end of his snap.
And Davis.
Yeah, and Davis. Both played amazing at the end of the year. Which
That's
is
right.
Yeah.
Because they were in shit. Hey, because you know what? I heard people saying that Vic was running when no one else was running conditioning drills.
Right.
Vic was running conditioning drills to get everybody in shape. And that panned out and off when you got later in January and February. There's no doubt about it. You made a point, and I want to add to that now. Does now the signing of Barkley and this new contract, does that push Becton up the list now where you want him back where as a priority? Because look, dude, I don't want to fall off to Tyler Steen at that spot.
No, you're right. I mean, look, you just spent $20 million on a running back. You want to make sure you're getting the right, you got the right guys in front of him again to be able to be as productive. So, look, I'm kind of with you on this. I talked to John about it a little bit. I actually asked that same question, and I'm like, is he more important now? You feel good because you have Jeff Stoutland, and you feel like they're going to be a good offensive line with or without Becton. But specifically because of the payment to a running back and because of how good Mekhi was in the running game, I think it's a no-brainer. The other thing is, Sills, let me pull up this chart for everybody because I want people to see this. I really want people to see at what we have right now and why we talk about this window being wide open. All right, let me pull up this graph. It'll take me 2 seconds. All right, and this is another reason why I want Mekhi Becton. All right, here it is. All right, here we go. All right, this right here is a chart of the Eagles starters, okay? The starters on offense, all right? You can see this is who you have under contract through 2028. So let me make it a little bigger for everybody to see. All right. You have Jalen Hurts under contract through 28. Saquon Barkley under contract through 28. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith under contract through 28. Jahan Dotson not, but we're not tripping about that. Tight end, we've obviously identified that's the biggest position of need on offense right now. Mailata, Dickerson, Juergens is due for an extension this year. Lane Johnson you have for the next 2 years. So now go into Mekhi Becton here. You give me a 4-year deal with Mekhi Becton at $50 million or 4 years, $45 million. Boom. Now you have stability on your offense that is really unprecedented. And the rest of what you're doing is building around that defense. You're going to invest draft picks. You're going to do all sorts of different things to move that defense around. So I think Mekhi Becton's important because you check off a big box on offense for the foreseeable future. By the way, when all these contracts are signed, Howie has a clause in every one of them. You're not going to lose any money, but I can rework it at any time if we need cap space. They're going to have flexibility in all the deals, and then you take that flexibility and you use it to leverage a defense. Vic Fangio pulls the most out of those guys. I mean, the formula right now, the next 4 years could be better than the previous 4 years of the Eagles. I mean, it looks so good right now on paper, and if you get Mekhi Becton done and that Juergens extension, which I'm assuming is coming, boy, you're in a good spot on that offense, man.
I want Becton and Bond. The other two.
Are going to be gone. I mean, let's be real. Did you see what that Cowboys guy got paid today?
4 years, $80 million.
I mean, come on.
38 guaranteed.
Milton Williams is going to get so much
Milton
money.
Williams is going to get exactly that number from the Vikings.
Yep. So, and look, here's the other thing. What I just showed you, while as beautiful as it is, right? I mean, you pull it up, as beautiful as that is, all right? There's a downside to that in that you're not going to have as many resources for defense. And this is where the people who say, why do we want Myles Garrett, maybe have a point. Because if you go and you take the right edge at 32, let's just say for a second we get a guy that can contribute like we had this year with Quinyon and Cooper. I know they're a different position, but let's say you take Jack Sawyer, or let's say you take Landon Jackson. Let's say Shamar Stewart, somebody, James Pierce, whoever we end up with, and they hit, dude, you're going to have a rookie contract edge rusher. You're 2 years away from paying Nolan Smith still. You're 2 years away from the money kicking in on Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis might get that extent. Who knows what happens there? Quinyon and Cooper are on rookie deal. Like now you're looking at a legitimate 4-year Super Bowl window that's undisputable if you stay healthy. So that's where I wonder, like, if you do go Garrett, what does that mess up? You know, what do you have to do to get him? And I think that's a fair conversation, but I see all sides of it. But boy, with the way the defense is right now, number 1 overall defense, G. Fish, you bring up a name I love, and Walter Nolan. I'm starting to like that draft. I'm starting to like the options in the draft a lot, but we'll see what ends up happening.
Absolutely, man. I think he's creating cap space. I believe he's creating cap space for 2 things: Garrett, Bond, and Becton. Okay. And by the way, I made a point to you guys yesterday about Zach Bond and his love for Wisconsin. Well, he was honored over the weekend in Wisconsin, and they had like Zach Bond. And believe me, if you don't think that was orchestrated by the Green Bay Packers to try to make that thing seem a lot more comfortable and you wanting to come back to Wisconsin, where you played your college ball and where you're from, think about that. This is going to be a tough putt here. I'm going to ask you something here. How would you feel about me throwing this at you? I'll tell you this, man. Right now where I'm sitting, if I'm Howie and I got all those things that you just said, what about cutting Goddard and saving cap space with that and cutting loose and getting rid of him? Listen, he is a really good player. He's just too expensive and always hurt. 2 things Howie has to hate: expensive, and you know what I'm saying? How about cutting loose and making him a June 1 cut? What about that? What do you think of that?
Well, if you look at the savings, I mean, you're not getting much savings. If you do post June 1, like you said, you're saving $6 million on the cap this year, $6.7 million, but you're taking on some dead cap money for the next 2 years. It's not a bad idea, but here's my problem with it, Sills. You're saving $6 million, but what are you getting back? What do you
mean in production?
Yeah, production-wise.
Okay, production.
Like, are you getting a competent – and look, we've talked about – this has been a theme this offseason already in terms of what are the other options, right? If there's no other option –
would you draft a kid down there, that kid?
Well, I think you're going to do that anyway, but does that mean you're ready to move on from Goddard and then you're going to go into the year with a rookie in Calcaterra?
What's he giving you, though, man? Expensive and hurt.
Well, he's on the field, remember. He can block. He's good in the run game.
I'm not against the player's ability.
You know, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Hey,
look,
I'm not against his ability. That's not where I'm at.
6.7 sounds good, but would you rather have 6.7 million and trash cans, or just pay the 6.7 and get production again? And you're going to draft somebody probably anyway.
If that $6 million helps me land Becton and Bond, would you be all right with that? Part of that whole package on what he did.
In a perfect world, yeah, but I think we can afford Becton and Bond before you're talking about that $6 million. I think that $6 million would be needed if you did go for a guy like Garrett, where now you're going to need to come up with extra money, you know, that you didn't have already worked into the plan. So I don't know. I think that's an option. I'm not totally opposed to it. Here's what I hate about it. This is what I absolutely hate about it. If you tell me September 6th or September 8th, whenever that first game is, and Grant Calcaterra is our tight end 1, I'm not going to feel good about that. I'm not going to feel good about saving $6 million to trot Grant Calcaterra out there as tight end 1. All right, I like Grant. He's just not that guy. And we need a guy that can block a little bit. We're a run-based offense right now. And based on the contract extension today to Saquon, we're going to be a run-based offense again next year. So
that's right.
I you know,
you're going to need a run guide there. Now this is going to be off the top too here. Dude, what you just did with Slay, do you think at all in your wild imagination that at 32, Howie would draft another corner?
I don't think he would. I really don't. But I think there's a scenario that exists where a cornerback falls maybe in round 2 where they could jump on that.
Oh, so you think 2 or 3 there could be?
I think 2 or 3 is more likely. 1, I don't. If they trade for Myles Garrett, then maybe. Like, I don't know what you'd have to include in that trade, but if you satisfy your need at edge and you feel really, which by the way, I do think they feel good about Moro Ojomo replacing Milton Williams. He had a lot of snaps last year. He was pretty productive in those snaps. Milton Williams had 600 plus snaps. Moro Ojomo had like 480. So you're not talking about Like Milton Williams didn't play 1,000 snaps. So
yeah, but I don't think he has. Well, I'll take that back. I haven't seen him yet give me the notion that he has the flexibility to be able to play a 7 technique, a 5, or a 3. I haven't. Now, that doesn't mean he can't, Xander. I haven't seen him in that
how
role
versatile
yet.
he is. Right. I agree. That's still a question. But look, the scenario I could see would be, maybe the Birds trade back and get 2 second-rounders.
Okay.
Or they take an edge in that first pick. And then if there's a guy there's one guy that's injured that's really good that I think they would like. And that's that Benjamin Morrison kid, that Notre Dame kid. Me and John have talked a lot about him. If that guy falls, maybe I could see the Birds thinking they get great value there and going for a guy like that. I just don't see secondary right now. So, I mean, think about what we just talked about with the cap, and think about what we just talked about with needing the defense to be able to step up. You're simply not getting the value there. It's so much more important to get defensive linemen and edge players that are playing good on rookie contracts.
And it stays in their philosophy.
Exactly. For example, Isaiah Rodgers is going to cost $4 million this year. Tops. That's cheap. I'm not saying he's going to be that great, but that you can do something with that. And that player, he's not awful.
No.
You're not getting a viable guy on the defensive line at $4 million. You're not finding it anywhere.
No.
So that's where I think they're just going to prioritize the trenches too much because it's so valuable. And with where they are in the cap, with how much money's going to the offense, they need valuable positions on rookie contracts on that defense.
Couple last ones here for you before we read some supers. Any supers we'll throw to the top here. So 24 hours after my deal that I threw out to everybody, what do you make of that? What I said, if you're at 32 and you don't see anything down there you like, and you trade it to Tennessee, like we said yesterday, and you get Garrett and you end up, well, you couldn't because 32 would have to be part of that deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not moving around if you get Garrett.
You're not. No. If you re-sign the guys you want, do you still think that that's a priority this year to draft somebody at 32? You think that's more of a priority to get something done? Because if you don't sign Sweat and you don't get Milton back, you're still going to at least need depth, right? And you still have the 5th-year option on Jordan Davis that you have to still come up with something. So do you hedge your bets by getting the kid from Ole Miss, by drafting a DT down there at 32? So is that a priority to get a player there still this year because you have so many question marks moving forward?
Yeah, look, I mean, here's the problem not the problem, but here's a scenario with where we are with the Super Bowl window. What is the draft approach? Because I think that changes what you're willing to do with Garrett. Are you looking for immediate impact player right now that you can plug and play? Yeah. I feel like they're looking for that versus prioritizing a long-term developmental guy. I think they're going for an immediate impact player, which will change where they'll go and potentially what guys they would be willing to take at 32. They might like a guy, but if they don't feel like he's going to be an impact in round 1 or round 2 or in year 1, they might pass on him. They might trade back and let somebody else take him and try and get a guy that they think can be an immediate impact player. So look, this is where it does get hard though. When you're a great team, drafting, Philly 4 for 4, you can get developmental guys later. Yeah, but 4 for 4. I mean, look at the history of, late first round picks, man. A lot of them don't pan out. Of them don't pan out. So, you're in a tough spot late in that first round. You got to be better in the draft process when you're picking late in the round. So we'll see what ends up happening, but I do think they're going to go with an impact guy there and probably a trenches guy.
Let me sneak one more in before we get to the supers here. So what they did last year, because they had the experience of Stoutland with Becton and they had Vic with Bond. And Vic's forte is linebackers. He's built linebacking cores all the way from the Philadelphia Stars through the New Orleans Saints, through the 49ers, to the Philadelphia Eagles. If you're Howie, do you put more of a value on Vic or on Bond? I mean, my point would be, hey, Vic, this guy's done this for 40 years.
Yeah.
Finding guys.
But what are you asking? I don't have to pick between them.
Why do I have to go out there and find another offensive lineman in the draft when I got Jeff Stoutland finding an alternative bust out of the Jets, turn that guy into an all-pro. He's going to get a 4-year contract in Philly near $40 million. And you got a linebacker that's approaching a $50 million deal who was a nobody in New Orleans. And
so you're asking which coach can turn garbage to gold again? That's
right. I mean, and plus these guys have done it for 20 years in the league. Don't you have a value on that too?
Absolutely.
Howie?
Which one would you choose?
I'd try to get a happy medium. Okay, I'd want to get that guy.
I think you got to give Vic something, though.
Look what he did with nothing.
I know, but why are you going to play your odds that he's going to do that every year? I mean, he's been in the league for 40 years. He hasn't done that much with nothing.
I'm asking you, what kind of a value do you put on that?
I think you got to get. Look, you got to get him some guys. You got, and look, it's not, he's got some. I mean, he's got Jalen Carter.
Then go get Myles Garrett.
No, I think Bond's enough.
Bond's enough. Okay.
Yeah, I think Bond is enough. And
you're right, because watch, Bond is 15. Garrett's 28.
Garrett's more than that, isn't he?
I think he's 28.
28, is that what he is?
I don't think he's in that 30 room with
yeah, you're right. 5-year, 125. So he averaged around 25 million a year.
Yeah. Okay. But still 15, 25, 20, that's a big jump, dog. I mean, you jumped 10 million.
It is. Give me Bond.
I think there's a value on Vic and Stoutland. A big value. Dude, look at what he did with Isaac Seumalo. Look at what he did with Cam Jurgens a year ago playing right guard. Look at what he did with Becton this year. Dude, that guy was the 14th or 13th pick in the draft by the Jets. He was considered a colossal disaster. Now, everyone in the league wants him. Yeah. I think there's a value. If I am Howie going, I think those two coaches, you tell me if I'm wrong, I think those two coaches put a cap on how much they're going to be willing to offer Zach Bond and Becton, because if they get too fucking out of hand, they'll just rely on those two guys to go find maybe not the same guy, but those two guys know how to make chicken shit into chicken soup.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, and by the way, they're going to have to do this at some extent because you just can't pay everybody. So they're going to have to do this to some extent, but where will they do it will be the question. I think Bond kind of broke the scale where it's like he was so good. You're almost like, I can't let him walk.
Dude, every week I kept saying, maybe you don't want him to play good.
I mean, they let TJ Edwards had a pretty damn good year as a linebacker. They were like, okay, goodbye. They didn't even blink. They didn't even give a shit. Zach Bond was so good. He made you like, oh, yeah, do I do it? Do I let him go? Do I bring him back? So I think he was so good. They're going to bring him back, but I hear what you're saying. And what you're saying isn't wrong. I just think they're in a position right now with the next couple of years being so, in such good position that make the move. I mean, get him signed now and deal with the cap, deal with the stuff that comes from it later, because you just got to capitalize on this opportunity. But look, I hear what you're saying. I mean, you're not wrong, but all right, Vic. I mean, this is why you said people say you're a Hall of Famer. Let's fucking go, guy.
Hey, you see that eagle emoji that Crosby posted out there too? Dude, you're not buying any. You're not buying anything into that, are you?
No, he uses that emoji a lot. He loves that eagle emoji. I don't know why he loves it, but he uses it a lot. I do like that player. I would be happy with Max Crosby, but we'll see. I mean, again, now my scenario is a little bit of hope and a little bit of draft luck. I understand that. But I tell you what, Zach Bond returning, Mekhi Becton returning, and an edge that contributes on a rookie contract for 4 or 5 years sounds pretty damn enticing to me right now. All right. Again, it doesn't mean it's all going to work out, but if they feel good about who they like at 32 or they feel good about the draft board, I think they're going to let it come to him, man. I think they're going to they might hold off on Myles Garrett, but I don't know. I talked to John, and he's like, this team, like he says it to me before the show, off the record. It's not off the record information, though. He's like, this team, they love Myles. Like, they are in love with Myles Garrett. I mean, him and Micah Parsons.
You know what I heard? They fell on Alonzo Highsmith was in Cleveland. And do you know when I heard that they were falling in love with him? When they had that organized team practice 2 years ago.
Yep.
And Lane Johnson comes off, goes, that dude is the real deal right there. Lane says he's the toughest guy he's ever played against. Is that guy? He said
him
that.
And Micah. Apparently, they love Micah too.
He's that guy. He's just insane. Let's get to the supers here, brother.
All right, let's do it. Appreciate everybody, by the way, for being in here.
Thank you, guys. You guys killed it today too, man.
T-Bone, what's up, T? If I'm GM, deals, moves of importance. Sign Williams, Bond, Becton, Gainwell, Fred Johnson, Rogers, Lovato. I don't like Milton. They're not going to sign Milton, but I agree with all the other ones.
Hey, T-Bone, there's only 2 guys on that list that are going to be resigned.
No, 4.
Well, Johnson will be resigned.
Johnson and Rogers, I could see.
Yeah.
Because I'm probably Lovato. If Lovato wants to play, let's be real, he's going to be back.
Special teams for sure.
He's the long snapper. He's been there forever. He's not going anywhere.
Yep.
Williams is not going to be back, T-Bone. And honestly, I'm surprised to hear you say that because if you look at some of the numbers on defense, man, Moro Ojomo was really good. Milton Williams is a good player, but he was playing next to Jalen Carter with, an all-pro linebacker.
He ain't an $80 million guy.
No, he's not. And then he says,
that guy in Dallas is not an $80 million guy.
If possible, bring back Slay and Burks. Would love Miles G, but realistically, too much money, draft picks and players, work magic in the draft. Look, I agree with the work magic in the draft, T-Bone, as I just laid out in the segment. But, bro, can I just run through this? T-Bone, and I love you, but you have Williams, Bond, Becton, Gainwell, Fred, Isaiah, Lovato, Slay, and Oren Burks all coming back. T-Bone, I love you. But that's a lot of guys coming back. I don't know.
Cha-ching. I just hear money cash register going. That's all I hear.
Yeah, that's a lot of dudes. With Slay and Burks, I don't know. Here's what I'll give you. Bond, Becton, Fred, Isaiah, Burks. How about that? And Lovato will be back, but he's cheap.
Sweat's going to Arizona. You want to bet?
You think so?
Yeah.
Good. Have him. I'm not
Look at you. Fuck you. Go ahead.
Well, once you take off the fucking eagle off the front of your jersey, you think I give a shit? Jason A-Team, what's up, A-Team? Howie's an awesome GM. Barkley extension is gold. If we can get Bond back and somehow land Garrett and draft a good tight end, it'll be a great offseason. JAKIB offseason is the best. Yes, it is. Wait, Jason A-Team brings up a good point here. Do you trade for Garrett and then use the draft capital you have left to pick up a tight end versus what I said, you go edge rusher in round 1? Now, here's the thing. You can go edge and tight end if you keep those picks.
Yeah. No, every single thing is going to be determined on what Bond and Becton do. Those are the 2 top priorities. You just gave a guy a $41 million extension. Becton has to be now the second top priority, Xander. Bond's got to be 1. And you freed up 16-4 in the last 2 days for your linebacker first. Then you know what they're going to do? I'm going to make a prediction now for you. The next guy up is Jalen Hurts. They're going to extend him this offseason to free up more money.
I agree. I think you're spot on. I think Jalen Hurts' contract's coming next. The extension or a reworking of whatever you want to call it. They're going to do something there. I think you're on to something there, Sills. All right, A-Team, let's see what happens, brother. If Fredo says we're getting Miles, mark my words, Bond and Becton. You want? So you think you're getting Miles, Bond, and Becton?
Wow. Hey, I'll tell you what, man. I've never talked more glowingly about Howie Roseman.
So, what's your win prediction for this team going to be next year? This fucking thing might go from 9 to 15.
I don't know yet. I'm going to wait.
I know you don't. I'm not being facetious. I'm just saying.
Well, wait. I'll tell you what. If they do that,
Silio's going to have him 16-1.
Listen, if they do that with what Alfredo just said, and you get Becton back, you put Bond and you get Garrett, I don't know. You lose a game.
Man, it'd be hard to say we would.
How about we do it this way? Wouldn't you be favored in every ball game?
Oh, we'd have to be. I mean, you got some good guys in the schedule, but to be honest with you, I'm not really that afraid. Like, why do I see so many people like the hard schedule? I mean, did you guys forget we won the Super Bowl?
Wait, the only reason that I would say that some of them are right is because, Xander, when you like in the SEC,
we do have a harder schedule.
No, when you play week to week, all 5 of those games are going to add up.
Right, I got you.
Okay, I mean, those are hard.
If you're scared, you can call Stevie Boy. He can come in and help you.
Stevie boy. Leave my fucking dog alone.
Call Stevie boy after the show.
No,
maybe you can cuddle up on it. Did you see?
I'm not allowed to talk shit on Stevie anymore.
Did you see it, Stevie?
Actually, I got my ass kicked by my old lady. I can't talk shit on freaking Stevie any longer, too. So go ahead, please. Don't get me in more trouble. I don't want to be eating ice cream sandwiches tonight for dinner.
Let's get so. You need to go to Sileo's and start hanging out with Stevie. All right, what are you scared? We're better than these teams. We're better than the Chiefs. We're better than the Bills. We're better than the Chargers. We're better than all these teams.
What happened when you had a great wall last time? You went 1-7.
Are we playing the NFC North next year? Yeah, we got the Lions. We got the Vikings. Oh, Sam Darnold scare you. Come on. We're better than these teams.
What if Detroit gets
schedule, but
what if Detroit gets Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson on the other side?
Well, they're going to be a good team. I still like my guys, but we're going to be a good. They're going to be a good team.
I got it.
No doubt. I mean, look, there's good teams in the NFL. That's how it is. They will be good, but we'll see what ends up happening with it. Big Dom, what's up, Big Dom? He says, so excited for this season. Bond, Becton, Garrett, LFG. That seems to be the three-name combo that people want.
Hey, Dom, you get that. You're favored in every ball game. Favored in every ball game. It's incredible.
Big Dom, if they get that, bro, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Jason 18, this is how we do it. Ski Mask Howie Elite.
Hey, I haven't talked so highly about that guy.
You called him the best GM in the NFL today. You did. You remember that, right? You weren't blacked out.
No way. I have CTE. I don't remember saying that.
No, you said that, and you believe it too. You know it. He is, dude. I'm sorry. He is. The resume now, 2 Super Bowls, been to 3. Right. I mean, the resume now is there. How many playoff wins he has since he took over, the record of the football team, the max contracts, the amount of all-pro players, Pro Bowl players is top in the NFL. Everything is there now. It's no longer Eagle fanboy conjecture. He is, objectively speaking, the best GM in the NFL right now. He is.
He found $10 million giving a guy $20 a year.
It's crazy.
Hey, dinner? He helped his football team by giving a guy $20 a year. How's that happen?
I know.
You do that in Dallas, you got to cut 4 players.
Hey, if you're somebody that for whatever reason doesn't like the Eagles owner, that you gotta give him his kudos for this.
God.
That's how it happens. All right. The Eagles owner gives,
I give him permission to buy another yacht. Man.
Look at this nerd. Shady, don't be a nerd. He says, Xander, stop. I agree. Approaching competition with that mentality only leaves for a letdown. I'm glad you aren't in the locker room. So Shady must have never played sports ever in his life. He used to walk into his locker rooms before the games and say, guys, I think we're going to lose today. No, you respect your opponent every week, but you feel like you're the better football team.
Shady, let me ask you something. Like, do you carry tampons around with you in your pocket? I mean,
Shady, you just got shredded, my boy.
This guy carries tampons around.
I mean, come on. You go in and look, you got good competition. I'm not saying that you downplay them, but you feel like you're better than it. Eagles proved that mindset that you put in this chat is not what they have, because everybody told them all year, you will not be able to run your way to a Super Bowl, including the greatness of Dan Sileo. And guess what they did? They said, fuck you, Sileo. Fuck you, Steve Spagnuolo. No, look, we're going to run our way to a Super Bowl.
He's back on the victory route again. There he is.
Yeah, baby. Yes, I am. In fact, I'm feeling pretty good about the move today with Saquon and the position we're in to move forward.
I tell you what that move did today. I feel more optimistic now that they're going to get Bond signed. I feel more optimistic today.
My word with Bond.
Xander's right. Every day I wake up and I post, hey, it's March 4th. 8 days to free agency. Where's Bond's deal?
Look, I hear you, but
I still think he's going to walk out into free agency.
My biggest fear with him isn't really what the Eagles are willing to do. No. It's more that some team is going to come in and give him so much money. Yeah. His agent's not going to let him take the Eagles deal. So that's my fear, but I don't know. The other feeling I have, it's a little weird. I said at the end of Birds 365 today, I said, John, are we going to be doing an emergency football 24/7 for something the Eagles do today? And he predicted no. And here we did another one with Saquon. And now I'm getting my spidey senses are tingling again. And I'm feeling like a Zach Bond extension is coming
Friday,
potentially this week or early next week before.
Friday.
Nah, they're not going to do a Friday news dump.
Friday going into the weekend to make you think about it.
Nah, they're going.
So you think Monday?
Did you see the Sixers news dump last Friday?
Yeah.
That team. All I want to do.
How about Monday? How about Monday?
People have me wrong. They think I hate the NBA. All I want to do is be a Sixers fan again. I can't. I can't even turn on the TV and watch them. I just want to be a Sixers. When I was a kid, it was my favorite team. I had Sixers hats. I had Sixers colored clothes and shoes and you name it. And I bought the Jordans and everything. And I loved watching the Philadelphia 76ers. Now they're the biggest joke of an organization I've ever laid eyes on. It's
you know why they were? You know why they were my favorite team growing up?
Why is that?
Because when Dr. J left the Nets and went to the Sixers, he was my favorite basketball player, and I loved him with the Nets. And then when he went to Philly, I rooted for the Sixers because then they got Malone, and they had him and Malone and Mo Cheeks and all them dudes. I fucking loved that team, man. I did, and they crushed. I think they swept the Lakers in the finals.
Yeah,
that's how good that team was. All right,
that was a good moment. All right, let me just do one more ripping and then I'll get out of here. All right. Shady says, I can't argue with Big Sills. He's played at a higher level. Xander, for you to dump on me like that shows your ignorance. Ignorance? Shady, with all due respect, I don't know who the fuck you are. You're giving me shit in the chat. I'm clapping back at you and now you're saying I'm ignorant. Come on, Shady. Everybody drop the snowflakes in the chat. Drop the snowflakes in the chat. All right? Put the snowflake emoji in the chat. Because we got a snowflake. Shady, maybe you need some rest.
Hey, Shady. Shady, Xander just gave you a wedgie.
Yeah, I did. Thank Lord, hip-hop was the best mascot. Yeah, hip-hop was dope. Lou Branch becomes a member. Lou, thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Oh, wait, one more super. Blaine says, Sills and Xander, why do you think this new offensive coordinator was recommended by Moore? Well, he was a Sirianni guy.
Yeah, Kevin Patullo, it was recommended by Frank Reich. That's where he got his bones from, was in Indy. I mean, Kellen probably said, yeah, no, he's probably the guy. But this relationship started with Sirianni in Indianapolis. Come on, man.
All right, let me get out of here. I don't want to stir up too much trouble.
Don't worry, Shady. Xander just gave you a wedgie. How you doing?
Shady, I still love you, brother. It's all good.
Hey, I think Shady, I think
but that's all right.
Hey, Shady, I think you're wearing Sue's panties, man, but you can't have that mentality in here, homie. That's not working.
I like how everybody's raining the snowflakes down on him. Shady, this is look, I hate to say it, brother. I'm sorry it's happening to you, but it is. It's just this is what's happening right now is, Big Dom, even M. Reyes is raining snowflakes down on you, man. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for now.
Hey, Sills will make you look at this one here, man. What Angelo said here. Hey,
Nah, Shady's good. He's been watching for a long
time. We're good, brother.
Nah,
we're good.
He just had a moment of flakeism. That's all right.
Xander, great day, man.
They say snowflakeism. It's like COVID. It's the thing spreads, and they say you need a mask and all these things. I don't get infected. It's like I never got COVID. All right, never got vaccinated. Never got COVID. I don't know. All right, same thing with snowflakeism. Somehow it hasn't hit me. All right, let me get out.
You got the 10-foot rule. Xander, great stuff, man. I'll catch you in the morning, brother.
All right, see you, brother.
You got it. That is Xander Krauss. Make sure you catch him on Birds 365. And also, make sure you guys check out my great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in America, and their resume speaks for itself. With over $20 billion in recoveries for families across the United States, this is what Morgan & Morgan is. Folks, if you got any issues going on in your life right now that you need an injury law firm, there's only one law firm in the country that will service you to make sure that you get the best for you and your family. Family in Pennsylvania, I told you about, an insurance company offered them $600K. Guess what? Turned around. Morgan & Morgan got that family in Pennsylvania $26 million. In Florida, $350K was an initial offer from an insurance company. Morgan & Morgan got them $12 million in recovery for their family because Morgan & Morgan is there to fight for you. Very easy decision to make here. If you're ever injured, please check out my friends at Morgan & Morgan. The fee is free unless they win. For more information, go forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's FOR thepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Great show today, guys. You guys have absolutely killed it. Please hit the like button. Let me ask you a question here about Darius Slay. Would you put him in the Eagle Ring of Honor? Is he an Eagle Hall of Famer? 74 starts. 9 interceptions. 56 passes defended. 3 Pro Bowls, 2 NFC championships, and 1 Super Bowl title. Tell you what, I know it's a short period of time. That's an awful lot of winning. What year did he get here? Did he get here in 20? Is that the year he came to Philadelphia? So he was on that 4-win team? It's a pretty short sample size, but I'll tell you this, inside 2020, so that's that, what is that 4 or 5 win team? Okay. So he's 5-11. Then he turns around and they go 9-8 in 21. Then they go 14-3. It's 28-20. Then he goes 11-6. 39, and then they go 14-3 again. 53-29 with 2 NFC championships. Tell you what, man, that's pretty damn close. It's pretty close. He's had a great career. Probably not because it's too short, I would say. But he's had a fabulous time in Philadelphia. So I want to reset here in a second here. Also, I'm going to get to the linebackers here in a second, but I'm going to post-draft with the post-combines. It's very short, I know. 2021, that makes the winning percentage better. If it was 21. Let me reset again here with what happened today with Barkley and how good that deal was today and what has transpired today. I'm more optimistic that you're going to sign Zach Bond and probably you're going to get Mekhi Becton back because of what you did here. 2-year contract, $41.2 million. Makes him the highest paid running back in the NFL. He's the first $20 million per year guy. And he's got additional incentives and escalators that give him a potential of $15 million and a $36 million signing bonus. Like, guys, I don't know about you, but at the end of the day, we're talking about an opportunity here where your football team got better today as a unit because you cleared up $10 million in cap space. Here's my friend, Bob. Still signed Becton, signed Bolton. Over Bond, younger, better tape over 3 years, true. Used the Garrett-type package with Vegas for Crosby and Meyer. Signed Dre Green. You know what? It's funny you say that, Dre Greenlaw and Burks to 1-year contracts. Here's what I wrote down here, Bob. Here are the top linebackers in free agency. And I ranked them. CBS ranked them too. If you lose Bond, CBS rankings versus me. Big Sills here. Here are the top linebackers, free agents. Zach Bond is number 1 on both lists. He's 28. Okay? He's 28 years old. Number 2 is Bobby Wagner. That's CBS. He's 35 years old. He's not number 2 on my list. I got Dre Greenlaw on my list at number 2, and he's 28 also. I think Bobby Wagner, hey, James Jones, I think Bobby Wagner is a great player. And do I want a 35-year-old inside linebacker on a young team? I don't. I don't want to add age to the Eagles. I want to try to lower the age. So I wouldn't want that. I'm not saying he's a bad ball player. They've got Dre Greenlaw number 3. I got Bobby Wagner number 3. Number 4, CBS has Ernest Jones from Seattle. And Jones is 26. He's a good football player. I don't think he's going to have a gigantic number around him. Now again, this is if you lose Bond. I've got Nick Bolton at number 4. He's 25 to what you're saying. They've got Bolton at number 5. I've got Bolton 4. I just think Bolton's got a better resume. Actually, if you think about it, Bolton's got the best resume outside of Bobby Wagner of any free agent linebacker. Now, Levante David, I have at 5. They got him 6. He's 35. He is a fabulous football player. But I don't want anyone north of 28. And if it is somebody north of 28, it's going to be Zach Bond. Okay? I'm not looking to get older. I'm awake, are you? Bolton's had a great career. He has. He's had a great career. Yeah, so my guys are Bond 1, Dre Greenlaw 2, Wagner 3, Bolton 4, Levante David 5, and Ernest Jones 6. So if I lose Bond, I would target Dre Greenlaw, Bolton, or Ernest Jones. And here's why. 25, 28, and 26. Gives me a little latitude on 2-year contracts. I can't give Bobby Wagner a 2-year deal. 37-year-old linebacker? No way. Wagner at best is going to sign a 1-year contract. At best, he's going to sign that deal. So, and we pointed this out today on what they did. Personally today, now, if I were a betting guy, who else would they take care of the extensions before the 8 days is up? Like, will they extend Hurts first? Get another 10. If they extend Hurts and give Hurts another year, and that frees up another 10, there's Becton and Bond's number. And it's also, for one, Myles Garrett. How he's playing both. He's probably trying Garrett, knowing full well. You see, here's the problem you have. You don't have anything you want to give away for Garrett. You don't have anything to offer that you want to, right? So how are you getting Garrett? Your draft picks aren't good enough unless they're high volume, because they're not impact picks. What do you have to offer Cleveland? Low draft rounds? Low picks in the rounds? That's not enticing. That's not enticing. That's what happens when you're the champ. They come out, hey, I'm awake, or you? What did you think once you won the Super Bowl? You were going to get to go on the Xander Krauss victory parade for 6 months? This bitch is a nightmare. I agree with you. It's madness. This guy's got a ton of work to do. Because you know why? They're coming after you. Because you're the champ. Everybody wants a shot at the title. Hey, if I were an NFC team, I'd be doing everything in my power. I would sign guys off the Eagles just to weaken you. Like if I'm Dallas, see, I think Washington is going to make a play for Zach Bond and Becton. That would help them a lot. And they could still get Garrett. What if Washington lands Becton, Bond, and Garrett? The 3 things that you said. How's Washington look then? And they added CD. Then all of a sudden, you put that collective group together, you go, CD Lamb, Zach Bond, Becton, and Myles Garrett. Adam Peters is the executive of the year. He's the executive of the year. Deebo Samuel, excuse me. How you doing? Here's who Eagle fans want to trade. Kenny Pickett and Bryce Huff. You know what I'd give you for that? I would give you 3 Canadian Football League players and the 8th pick in the Canadian Football League draft. Come on, Pop. Everyone wants Eagles players because they suck at drafting. Wait a minute here. Everyone wants the Eagle players because the draft's not that great and because free agency sucks. That's why. Come on, Pop. Sills, sell Ball high because you can't get better. Dude, I'm with you. Hey, Bob, do you think, Bob, I'm not going to ask anybody else. I'm going to ask you. Hey, Bob, what do you think the chances are? Here, I'm going to go down this route. This is great. I took one break today. I got one more I have to take where I'm going to get out of that. You ready? So James Bradberry signed a 3-year, $38 million contract after an all-pro season. A lot of money. You guys signed him. Cut him today. How do you know Zach Bond doesn't have a 1 year in him too, where he doesn't play the way he played a year ago? How do you know that? Do you know this? I'm feeling very confident. Or is that wishful thinking? Bradberry had an all-pro. I would have done it. I would have signed him. He had an all-pro season. How do you know he's not? Do you really believe that Zach Bond's going to play as well as he did a year ago this coming season? Year older. Won't be able to hide this time. How you doing? You guys think this guy's 25 years old. This guy's starting to need a walker soon. Ooh. Hold on here. I'm dreaming on what? How could you honestly in your heart say he's going to be the same player when he's only had 1 year in his 7 years? How you doing? Here's my boy Pump. I tell you what, this Poindexter Howie better chill. Motherfucker got these other teams mad as hell. Setting the guard market. 2024, now the running back market. Yeah, he's talking about last year, Landon Dickerson. Now he's just pumped up the running back market. Woo! General managers are like, I can't sign a back for $20 million. Look at Pump spreading that shit on there, man, like that. Losing Milton and Sweat will affect Bond's play. Now, losing Carter and Davis will affect his play. Now, to your point, they did a nice job at setting the edge. So, okay, because he was able to go sideline to sideline. It will. But you got Jalen Hunt. Xander thinks he's the next Reggie White. I'm kidding. He doesn't. Yeah. Hey, it will, because when you have good players up there, man, you can go sideline to sideline. But you got Jalen Hunt out there. You should feel comfortable. I agree with John. That guy will not be the starting defensive end or what? That guy will not be a starter this coming season. There's not a chance. No way. That guy's not your strong side LB. Pickett and Huffman one for Garrett Watson. How you doing, Arthur? Arthur's just throwing shit out there now because he's the champ. Is that what you're doing here, Arthur? Arthur, you're just throwing shit out there, right? Hey, let me see if I get Sills. Is that what you're doing, Arthur? You're just throwing shit out there now. Arthur goes like this. What's your kicker's name? Hey, Arthur, what's your kicker's name? Jake Elliott? Jake Elliott, Van Helsing, Van Sumeren or whatever, Kenny Pickett, a 1 and a 2 for Garrett. Is that it? You could throw all that shit out there because you're the champ. Here's my top 10. Here's my top 10 picks post combines. I want to give you guys this. All right. Number 10, Will Campbell, OT, LSU, Chicago. Number 9, Jahadi Barrel, cornerback, Texas, New Orleans. Tex McMullen, wide receiver, Arizona, Carolina. Mike Green, 7, edge, Marshall, New York Jets. I would too. Hey, watch this, Brian. You want to see something crazy? How many people would trade A.J. Brown for Myles Garrett straight up? That Browns will never do this. And it's not feasible. But how many people would trade A.J. for Garrett? Watch this one here, Pump. Not me. No way. Are you under the impression A.J. Brown's a better player than Myles Garrett? Look at this. Nah. No way. A wide receiver who you could cut at any moment. I thought you would. You just gave the running back $20 million. You wouldn't. Look at these people. Now I know who not to talk to. You would not. No, look at this. No way. Okay. This does give me a hey, Pump. You now see the room a little bit better, don't you? AJ's a beast. Garrett's going to the Hall of Fame. AJ's not. Under the same age. Hall of Fame run continues. Yeah, look at that. Hey, Pump. I love that. Big old spoon. That is big old spoon. Nope. Not me. I wouldn't trade AJ for Myles. Hoss, if you're going to get Myles Garrett, you're going to have to give a ton of shit up to get that guy. I'll give you Kenny Pickett and Tyler Steen. We listen to your BS. Nothing wrong with constantly. Hey, Twist. God bless you, kid. I'm in a good mood today. So I'm not gonna give you a wedgie like I always do. Send you to the corner. Let somebody pat you on top of your. I'm in a good mood. I'm feeling okay today. What's Hurts without Brown? There's a question. They won a Super Bowl without Brown. The quarterback and the wide receiver had the worst year since they've been in Philly, and he won the Super Bowl. How you doing? Number 6, Shedeur Sanders is going to go to the Raiders. Quarterback. Number 5, Mason Graham, DT, Michigan, to Jacksonville. Number 4, Patriots, Kelvin Banks, OT, Texas. Number 3, Travis Hunter, Colorado corner, Giants. Be the best thing the Giants have done under Joe Schoen. Number 2, Abdul Carter, edge rusher, Cleveland. And number 1 will be Cam Ward. By the way, let's take a look at all these big money receivers now and how many of them have been traded. And let's take a look at all these edge rushers that haven't been traded. Okay, Crosby, Hendrickson, Garrett, Parsons. Who else? TJ Watt. There's 5 guys. Here's the top wideouts that have been traded. Would that make 20 or more million? Stephon Diggs. He's now looking for his 4th team. A.J. Brown has been traded. Tyreek Hill has been traded. Who else? Devontae Adams has been cut. Cooper Kupp is being cut. How come nobody trades edge rushers? How come edge rushers aren't on the market? Unless you're a 35, 36-year-old Khalil Mack. How come? All these wide receivers get dealt. Shit, even AJ's been dealt. What happened? The guy who was voted the best player in the NFL last year was traded. Kansas City went, yeah, I don't think so. That's true. Forrest is right. You need corners and edge rushers to get them guys on the ground. That's why there's a premium. Wide receivers are not a premium. You just pay them a lot. They're constantly being replaced all over the league. Edge rushers are not replaced. Left tackles are not replaced. Look at the premium. How many top-flight corners do you see on the – seeing Derek Stingley and Surtain and guys like that in the open market? Dude, Darius Slay's 35 years old. And you know what those guys were doing today? Xander and John McMullen were talking about giving a 35-year-old corner $10 million a year. Think about the premium that they're even telling you. Xander and John want to land on 10 for a 34, 5-year-old corner. They ain't that hard to, they ain't that easy to find. Okay? Twist, you didn't, though. Shit. All right, Xander, 8 for a 35-year-old. Name me another position that you would give a 35-year-old guy $8 million. Let me think. A quarterback? Probably. I'm not giving a running back $8 million. Who else? A wideout, $8 million at 35? I don't know. Probably not. An edge rusher? Yeah. A left tackle? Probably. Look at Jason Peters. He just retired. He was 43. He made $5 million last year. He was 43. Here are the money positions. Left tackle, edge, corner, quarterback, and receiver. The money. Look at the money. Just follow it. Highest paid positions in the league are all those positions. That's why when I asked the question earlier about paying Jalen Carter $40 million or $35 million a year for 4 years, talking excess of $170 million. That's a big number for a defensive tackle that maybe in his career will never get over 9 sacks a year. You're starting to compare him to Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald had 17, 18 sacks a year. Yeah, let me see. Do you want to start comparing him to Aaron Donald? And by the way, I heard, a lot of people make the call. I heard Aaron Donald even make it. So here's a defensive tackle, Aaron Donald, and what he did in his career. Now, actually, I think Carter might be able to attain these. I thought it was more preposterous. His first year, he had 9. His second year, he had 11. So he averaged 10 sacks a year his first 2 years. Then he went down to 8. Then he went 11, 20 and a half, 12 and a half, 13 and a half, 12 and a half. Then he got hurt at 31 and 32. So in 10 years, he had 111 sacks. Could Jordan Davis do that? Or Jalen Carter do that? I don't think he's the pass rusher he is. Donald was the rookie of the year. He was first team All-Pro 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 years in a row. You missed Joseph's chat and member. Throw that up there for me, Xander. Show sucks. Love you, Sills. Keep up the good work. Thank you, bro. Hey, I gotta do a timeout here. Joseph, thank you for becoming a member. We really appreciate that, dude. One of my favorite lines of all time. Sileo, you suck. I've been watching you for 30 years. You suck out loud. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, Joseph, thank you so much for coming aboard here. Hey, don't forget my great friends at BetUS, guys. We have had a great time this year. Make sure you check out their website, man. Anytime that you guys want to bet on any sporting event like basketball, baseball, spring football, what have you, they have it for you with the YouTube 150. Sign-in bonuses up to $2K. Second and third are 125%. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Also, 200% in crypto on a signing bonus up to $2K. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sil's National Football Show. You guys have been great today. Please hit the like button. Just to recap, Eagles have the 32nd pick, the 64th pick, 96, which is their own. Then in the 4th, they got the Lions pick, the 3-5s, Texans, Commanders. The other 5th pick is their own. I believe that's at the bottom of the draft. So, yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about the positioning. And by the way, we'll do a full draft of all those picks potentially tomorrow as well. Guys, you were great. Great day for the Eagles, man, on the Barkley. You created more space, and you created more opportunity to re-sign Zach Bond and Mekhi Becton. Great stuff. Appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you again. Please hit that like button. Big Z, Big Joe, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.